Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge, it's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And today we have a couple special guests. We have Garrett Lynette and we have Dan Kidd. Garrett we're getting ready to do a pick that Garrett, I believe, set up, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that today a little bit. And then Dan likes to chug bourbon.
Yeah, I like to drink and smoke.
He likes to drink and smoke. We all like to do that. So we're in good company today. So we're going to chat about all these things and get into a couple of special pours. And we're also going to be smoking the Crux Guild today. Cigar we've had for a little while, but you know what? I haven't been back to some of the Crux lately, and I thought, you know what? Let's get back to something we really enjoyed. So we're going to smoke that today.
Guild's probably, I think the Bull and Bear is actually probably my favorite.
Me too, just because it's full body.
Yeah, it's more full body than this one. But this one has some really good qualities to it too. So what do you, Garrett? Are you a big cigar smoker?
Yeah, I mean, I frequent here pretty good.
Yeah, I know. We hang out. What is your profile like then with cigars?
It really kind of depends on the day. I think if I come in, sometimes I'm searching for something a little bit more mellow and blonde, and sometimes find myself wanting to get my hands on, a Camacho pre-embargo or something like that. Different flavor for a different kind of a day.
Nice. Shoot, I should have brought those out today.
V on one side, straight on the other. Just don't go too deep.
Yeah, don't go too deep on that straight.
I'll push it all the way in. Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding.
It's beautiful. Oh, the V's all good.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah, the V's perfect. I always go V.
Once you go V, you won't go back.
So, this Howard's running around here. He's a good boy. We brought Howard with us today.
He's having a good day.
The cigar looks like Pac-Man right now.
Yes. So let's just jump in.
Let's jump right in.
So today we're actually recording the day after the shooting on former President Donald Trump, and I've heard a lot of people have come together on this. I'm glad to see that people are not taking this as a political thing, but there's still people out there, running their mouths. Like, bottom line is, I don't care if you're far right, far left, somewhere in the middle, this shit needs to stop. It's just getting stupid that we feel like in this country that our candidate's not the candidate winning, so we need to shoot the other guy. I mean, come on, man. It's just getting stupid. So, I mean, we're not going to talk politics. We usually don't, but it's just one of those things that happen. So glad he didn't die in the shooting, but there was two people that did die, the shooter and a bystander. So
we need to make America drunk again.
Drink more and people will be a lot happier. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Except for the bankrupt people.
Let's bring the country together. Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever. I don't care what you are.
So did you see the original video of like when it happened? Did you hear the audio from that?
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing ever. Not that it happened.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So he goes down and the Secret Service jump on top of him, try to pick him up to get him off stage, and all you hear is, "I need my shoe! I need my shoe!"
Yeah, one of his shoes went off.
So he wouldn't leave the stage without a shoe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what kind of loafers they were, but they were probably pretty nice.
In typical Trump fashion, although I will say this was pretty quick after getting shot in the ear, he immediately came out and did his normal, we're going to fight. It's like, come on. You gotta love a guy that does something like that,
Or he goes
regardless of your politics.
They go to put him in the car and he's like standing on the sideboard, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like,
we're going special operations. I'm riding on the outside of the car.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking too,
kudos
man.
to
It's
him.
like after taking a shot in the ear and then not just ducking your way to the car.
Oh yeah, damn. No, he was proud of it. He was very proud of it. Well,
Yes,
good
I
for
want
him that
bourbon.
he's still well.
Yes.
Tweeted out that he's fine.
Of course.
I have some pictures I'll show you guys. Like, we were at breakfast this morning looking at pictures from that yesterday, and there's one where they like circled a streak like behind his head. And they were like, "This was the bullet that grazed him." Like, you're full of shit. I was like, I have a camera that might be able to do that. I'm sure they do too, but like,
probably not.
It's more likely that's a UFO than the bullet, right? Like,
I was at Indiana Grand last night losing money on slots with my wife, like I know only how to do. And I was talking to Kylie about it because she had no idea it had happened. And of course, the first bystander is an old man walking by, and the first thing he said was, "That's fake. It was made up."
Yeah.
Really?
Bottom line is, if that was fake, then what the hell happened to this poor bystander that died? You know what I'm saying? If it was staged, someone died in the staging of this thing too. It's even worse.
I think it's remarkable that nobody else was hurt just because of, it was a total of 8 rounds that went off.
I don't know. I didn't hear how many rounds.
It was about 8.
Have you seen the memes that have come out of this though? We'll talk some memes and then we'll move on.
All right.
There was one in particular that stood out from, I'm not going to say this guy's name. Quote Stormy Daniels. "Now we've both been shot in the face."
Yeah, I did see that one.
Wow. It's like, okay, that was way too soon. Way too soon.
I thought that the summit of those was just going to be things about like 50 Cent and saying, like
that was a good one. I saw one of those.
All of those about getting shot and walking away from it or whatever. But
yeah,
that tops it.
The shooter's got Bronny James stats going 1 for 8 from the field.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So any way that we can bring the country together to make Bronny James feel worse about his game was it's a good.
It's true.
It's a good time. I guess
it does seem like every media is doing that right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, as a dad, if I've got a son and he's a good ball player, good enough to actually get drafted in the NBA,
eventually,
wouldn't that be freaking amazing to be able to win a championship with your kid?
Right.
I'm kind of rooting for that, even though I don't like LeBron James. But man, it seems like the country's like, screw that shit. We don't want Bronny to do anything.
I don't get it, because when you look at the roster and the lineup, where's he going to fit in to actually play with his dad? So he's just,
you know where he's going to fit in? When LeBron goes to the bench and say, "Coach, put my son in."
Yeah.
That's when he gets in.
Oh, you mean their new coach, JJ Redick, who's in his pocket anyways?
Yeah.
Anyways, we need liquor because it is afternoon.
So we do have a couple from you. We'll also get into, if we have time later on, we've got the new Whiskey Acre 7-year that just came out. So tell us about your bottles.
All right, these are MGP. It's a 5.9, almost a 6-year by the time they were barreled. This is the Chugz 4.0 release. We had the option between 10 different barrels, which was a blast because I showed up a little drunk already. So tasting through 10 barrels was quite the task. Someone had to do it, so I did it.
It's a job.
But yeah, so it's a
tough job.
It's the latest, probably the last of the Chugs that I'll do. It's been fun, but chugging whiskey's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
Yeah. Well, we've said it on here before, and I know you said this before too. Is like, you kind of got a massive following.
Yeah.
And a lot of it came because you were doing the chug videos, and you do a lot of content. You do a great job of content, but pretty sure it would have been much better if you didn't have to chug to get those following, right?
And it almost becomes like I'm a sideshow at a party.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do that chug thing.
Do that chug thing.
Do that chug. Yeah, man.
Dance
All right.
monkey.
Which one do you want to start with, pink or blue?
Let's go blue.
Blue?
Yeah. It's a little bit more color. I think the other one tastes a little bit better.
So, talking about that fame, Dan, can you tell us some of the more memorable people you've met due to your whiskey stardom?
Yeah, that's been pretty cool. The people that I've got to meet. We were talking about Peerless the other day, so I got to actually John from Peerless was one of those guys that was like, "Hey, here, I got this. Why don't you chug this at this party?" And I'm like, "Man, again, I'm 10 drinks in, but all right, might as well."
All right, here's the real question: Do you ever change it up for sweet tea?
You tell me. No, I don't. I don't, because I don't want to get called out for it.
Well, I know
saying
you
he's
don't,
pulling a
because
Jim Leahy?
you also pull the plastic off a lot of times. So.
So I used to get called for that. They're like, "Oh, that's not real," or whatever. And so then I'd pull the plastic off, and then do an actual fresh pop, and and then the chug, and then it's like, what can you say? I did that a few times with some of those Booker's bottles. I'm struggling with the wax.
Yeah.
And there's no cuts. So
yeah,
you tell me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. We've got the Carters. A lot of people from Buffalo Trace. It was funny. One of the last it was a couple years ago. I was on a pick for Buffalo Trace, and I was with the guys from St. Omo.
Nice.
And we're down there, and I'm kind of telling them about this whole, the Chug brand and everything, and they're okay. They knew me from, doing other things.
Yeah.
So they're not quite taking me serious. We get in there, and the guy that's on the pick, that's leading the pick, is like, "Hey, that's that Chug guy." And I'm kind of sitting in the back, and they all 10 heads turn and kind of look at me, and I'm like, "I've been trying to tell you guys, I'm doing something in this whiskey business."
Yeah,
kind of famous.
So I got a little bit more recognition from them, that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
So,
And it's such a small industry, even though it feels massive.
yeah.
That once you know a few people, you kind of almost know everybody.
Well, you start getting in those circles, and you start, getting invited to parties, or, the last few times I've showed up in Kentucky, it's, hey, we just wound up hanging out with these guys, and then they know these guys, and they know these guys, and the next thing you know, it's, the leaders of the industry, we're all smoking cigars and drinking bourbon. I think last time I was down there was Bernie Lubbers, Mark Carter, and what's the guy I forget the guy's name that's doing all the rare character, Pablo.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was one other guy from Heaven Hill. We're all down there smoking cigars, and it's like, man, I never thought in a million years this would be happening. So
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And we, doing this too, like, I know we don't have quite the following you do, but, we feel the same way, where we get to meet some cool people and go to distilleries and, make new connections, throughout the community and the whiskey community.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. And, now we're to the point to where people are starting to reach out to us instead of like me contacting them once a week to get them to answer my emails.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, we want to send you our stuff." I'm like, "Okay,
there you go.
Cool. Hell yeah, that's awesome."
I'll tell you what, I've had more fun. It's more about the community. It's more about meeting the people.
Yeah.
Sitting down with them, hearing their story, enjoying a pour or 9.
Yeah.
Having a cigar.
That is
chugging.
the lead.
chugging.
It's 1 to 9.
Yeah. Well, and that is the best part of this. Liquor's always great. It's fun to try different things, but the people and building community and expanding our friend groups it's a lot of fun. And that's kind of what this is really all about. I mean, you're probably not going to be sitting at home by yourself in your back room chugging bourbon.
Well,
I mean, you might
with your phone on a tripod.
for a little while.
maybe for a
You
video.
still got this. You still got this.
Girlfriend comes in. What are you doing back there? Just chugging bourbon. Nothing.
Did I just hear you cork a bottle?
No, she didn't want you to be chugging. Where you say, "Nope, just back here masturbating, honey. It's fine."
No bourbon, no bourbon.
It's porn, I swear.
You met some famous people though, right? Like you got to meet Scottie Pippen.
Oh yeah.
that's cool.
I got to chug with Scottie Pippen. We were talking about 50 Cent earlier. I got to chug 50 Cent's
Tequila.
little cognac.
Brandy.
Or cognac. He patted my belly. Man, I was trying to come up with a perfect tagline, and it was there the whole time: "Get drunk or die trying." And it eluded me.
Huh?
Yeah.
He just said, "Yeah,
But
Yeah. So okay,
MGP, almost a 6-year, 5-year on the label.
And what's the mash bill on this one? Is this
That's
their,
a good
their
question,
90?
man.
Okay,
I don't
you
know.
don't know.
After,
Okay.
after 10 of them,
I got you.
all the other ones
very sweet."
Yeah, all the other ones I picked were high rye. I'm not. What is it? 30, whatever they want. Whatever it is,
High
but-
rye.
It's very good."
So 114,
Yeah,
a little over
I
114.
think the other one's a 116.
Okay.
The other one's I like the other one just a little bit better.
Okay.
They're all my children, but
Sure.
I don't beat this one as much.
Well, this has got a really, really nice citrusy nose.
Oof.
You can definitely smell the
It's a little
light
sweet on the
oak.
palate. Yeah,
Very sweet on the palate, but it's still got that heat behind it, which is
I think
really
it goes
nice.
great with the guild. Give me like a little creaminess between the two. It's
Yeah.
very, very complimentary.
Yeah, I can taste the oak in it more than I can smell it for sure.
It's like a sweet rise. It rises in there. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very good, man. Good pick. So, speaking of picks, Garrett, tell us a little bit about what we're getting ready to do
Please.
tomorrow.
What am I getting you into?
What are you getting us into?
So I've wanted to do this for a long time. Just between the fact that I've seen a good deal of commemorative picks around the Indianapolis area for a while. Notable causes, all of them, and we got on board in a big way with a nonprofit within the last year. My wife has gotten on board as a state ambassador for Mission 22.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing a commemorative pick for her cousin. Ryan. We lost him a few years ago. Just
Yeah.
yeah. So we lost him a few years ago, and we wanted to do something. And I kind of had to remember the last time he was on leave. He actually spent pretty much the entirety of the week hanging out with me in the basement, drinking my bourbon, playing Madden, kicking my ass, and dipping a lot of Copenhagen in my basement. So, I think I had like a 12-pack of dip spitters, to take up to the trash by the
Sounds
week's
like we
end.
need to get him a smoke eater for his basement now, don't we? Yeah.
That is on my to-do list. I don't even know what those begin to cost, but
Depends.
I'd get myself into some trouble, I'm sure, smoke-proofing the bourbon room and everything. And I mean, me and Dan have had a number of times on there. I got to get you guys down there sometime.
Yeah.
Kick
Heck yeah,
back, have some
love to.
pours.
After you get the smoke eater.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we wanted to get on board and do something that was, cool and memorable at the same time. And so I said to myself, why don't I actually just do a barrel pick? Why don't we put something together, get something really cool? So we're going to actually, after much consultation and figuring out, what's going to be most competitive for people to want to get in on, because it's more about sharing the story. I want the bottles to sell because I want to share the story.
Right.
So we're going to go with a Starlight double oak pick, heading out tomorrow to go get it.
Heck yeah.
What we're getting beyond that, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I said before we started, I would not be disappointed if it wound up being a double oak rye. Been getting into rye a little bit more lately.
Yeah.
Come to appreciate it.
And double oak ryes are delicious.
It's amazing. The same stereotypical statement comes whenever you bring rye into the conversation. Oh, it's too spicy. It's always just like a very generic, like, I think maybe pretty much everybody's probably just tried the wrong High West or something like that gave them way too much spice, or Midwinter Night Dram or something like that just they didn't really care for. And I thank Peerless for changing my mind, because Peerless's ryes are fantastic.
Yeah.
A little too expensive. If they're listening, love you, but I can't afford you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yesterday was their release of the toasted batch 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looked good.
I think we're
Yeah.
going to swing by and probably pick some up tomorrow.
All right.
Fingers
All right.
crossed. But.
Heck yeah.
Well, Mike and I are still trying to figure out what time we have to be back, so we'll figure out if we can make it there or not, but we'd like to.
We'll try.
I'll bring you
probably
back
can.
one if you gotta make it.
All
I'll
right,
find
yeah.
a way.
All right,
We'll
cool.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, you saying like the generic, oh, it's too spicy. I think that's how a lot of people are with wheat too. Not with the spice part, but with that like earthiness. A lot of people think that's, and we've always been into higher rise and cask strength stuff. Wheats was our kind of crux, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
No pun intended. It kind of opened our eyes a little bit this year as we got into like the Whiskey Acres stuff, and then
The larceny
first
stuff. Larceny last larceny last year was good.
The A123s. So this year we've expanded our wheat profile a lot. And there's a lot of really good wheats out there that can be differentiated between like a young grain and just a grain forward, note. Earthy, I guess. Not medicinal, but earthy. So that was kind of our thing, was wheats, not ryes, because I think the only ryes that you don't really care for are like the new riff ones, because they have that like minty note.
When you get to that mint and that kind of thing there, I'm out. I hate mint.
The Balboa rye.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
I can appreciate it. I just don't like the flavor of the mint.
Right.
And it's just I
get
can
that.
see why
Didn't they
people
have a Christmas
like it.
rye in there, something like that?
Chocolate. Yeah, the chocolate malted rye.
that
Yeah.
one was-
I like that one. That was one that I did like.
Chocolate malt's pretty special.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I didn't like the
all of
Balboa, but the chocolate malted was.
So what about the Hard Truth chocolate? You tried that one?
I don't know if I've had that one. I like their sweet mash rye. I think that's super solid. They did a really good job with that.
Well, they did a chocolate malt and a caramel malt, and we were down there recording with them earlier this week, and we got to drink some of the chocolate malted sweet mash rye.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, all that chocolate pops through, and in a really, really good way, not a overwhelmingly like flavored way, just in a good way.
Goes great with the knuckle sandwich.
It went great with the knuckle sandwich, didn't it?
So we did a pick with them not too long, I think earlier March. We picked 2 barrels, so we tried, I think like 6 different barrels to begin with. And then they just like took us through the warehouse, and we opened up like, I don't know, 6 or 10 more.
Yeah.
And we did a Four Roses pick earlier that morning, so we were already pretty we were pretty popped. But man,
why don't you tell us about that lineup? That was like 3 or 4 days of picks, right?
Oh no, we did 28 picks in 5 days.
Jesus.
What?
Let's talk about that.
Damn.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, give us the roster.
So my buddy Rocco from Rocco Wine and Spirits out in California is just a baller. They are, I'm not sure if they're the #1 Buffalo Trace distributor in Cali, but he's up there. So he brings a lot of punch. He brings a lot of power. Like usually likes to get his buddies, some influencers, and some other people, and bring them in on the picks. So we probably had at one point 12 or 15 different people throughout the week. But I mean, we started off with I forget which one we started with, but it was like Monday morning at 9 o'clock. All right, we're hitting this, then we're hitting up Peerless, then we're hitting the next one, and I mean it was like 3 or 4 a day, and we're doing anywhere from 2 to 3 picks a day. And then we hit up the big boys, Four Roses, Buffalo Trace. That was cool. We got to stay at the Stag Lodge.
Heck yeah.
Which was amazing. They did it right. They kept us on campus because they knew we were drinking all day. So they said we're gonna have you stay here.
Yeah, dude, that's perfect.
Come drink through the night. But yeah, I mean at one point it's there's only so much you can drink, and I mean I feel bad. I'm not a big flavored person. Or finished. I think Hard Truth is. I don't know if a lot of their stuff is finished or they do.
Not a lot of it, but they do have some other ones that are finished.
Yeah.
And they have some that are coming that are going to be.
It seemed like
next year they have a French Oak that's coming.
We tasted a lot of the PX Share, all these different barrels, and again it's my 18th drink of the day, and I'm like, guys, I got nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't really go for a lot of that stuff anyway.
I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired.
This tastes like liquor.
Yeah. And and a couple chugs in the morning, that really kind of ruins everything too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's got to be hard. You never start with the chug.
actually,
You always start with the chug. Yeah, we have to calibrate, so a morning drink will do you good, but
Yeah.
open you up a little bit.
So okay, that's a good question, because Isaiah was the first one I think that really started talking to us about. He likes to calibrate his palate when he first gets going on picks. So he always takes something
With a similar mash.
his JTS Brown, because he knows that inside out. He can taste it. He knows it. And if his palate's off and he's not tasting what he normally tastes, he's like, I'm probably not going to be good on this pick today, guys. Do you have a bourbon that just like that's the one no matter what you drink it, it's always going to be exactly there, and if you're not tasting it.
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to E.H. Taylor Small Batch. That's just I fell in love with that
that is home
6 years ago, and that's been kind of my, I don't want to say every day, but that's where I always gravitate back towards.
Yeah.
So typically when I'm doing picks, I like to let the distillery, hey, let's start with this.
Lead it off.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll do that. They'll
okay,
hey, this is our sample, or this is the one that we're going to baseline off of, and then we're going to go from here. Buzzard's Roost, sorry, that was the first one that we did, and so we started with their main line, and I think we tried 6 or 7 other ones, whether they be finished or not, but because I think each distiller does it different. Again, they should know what they're doing. So let's taste it in order of this, and then this is where we'll finish up. So, I mean, I guess I take that back. For this pick that we did, for the Chugz pick, 4.0, I started off with the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. So I knew I was going to be drinking barrel proof whiskey. So
that was my first bourbon.
E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like a side of like Kentucky Gentleman when I was in high school.
Man, starting off high.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
So like, it's
didn't
probably
climb
been
the
about
mountain.
15 years. My wife gave me a bottle for like a birthday present or something that somebody gave to her.
Yeah.
And this was back when like Total Wine and Liquor Barn still had it on the shelf for like
probably
$69.
I was gonna say like $60-$70.
Yeah. So like that was the first real bourbon I ever had.
Man.
And
I envy you.
I was like, dude, this is amazing. This is awesome. And like literally the next year, like you couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Secondary was like $125.
Yeah.
So like still like we could get it, but didn't want to pay secondary then. Then 2, 3, 4 years later, now it's
$500-$600.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's dropped a bit.
Yeah, it's gone back down
There's
to about
been,
$450. So, but yeah,
About time.
I needed to go back into stores.
Yeah.
I miss small batch. Like I used to love the small batch.
Yeah.
Finding it for $42 at like Apu's grocery store.
I used to go into big. I mean, I used when I used to go back into Big Red. I'd be like, "Hey, you got anything in the back?" You know, and they would, "Oh, hey, it's Dan. He's coming back. Yeah, we got 6 things for you." And then that just stopped happening. You know,
Here's Jep the Creed.
that bloody butcher,
moldy bloody butcher.
It's I'll tell you what I got. So that was one of the places we went to.
Sorry,
it's a gorgeous campus.
I've heard it was.
The guys are really nice, and I got a buddy that he likes that funk. He likes that bloody butcher corn.
There must be a lot of people out there. They wouldn't be continuing to produce the juice.
And I'll tell you what, if you like the wheats, they've got the new.
The 6-year wheat.
It's a 6-year wheat. So
it's not terrible.
If you open it and you put it over to the side, and you go have dinner, and then you come back, you tickle it a little bit. It'll creep up on you.
It's not terrible. I was able to try a sample of that one. It's not terrible.
I personally don't like the funk on the other ones. I got a buddy that loves it, but I don't mind that 6-year wheat. It's not bad. I don't know if it's something I would pick.
Yeah, no.
Right off the bat.
That's my big thing too. Is like we'll go places and we'll taste through a bunch of stuff, and then there's one that's like, oh, that's not so bad.
Mm-hmm. But there's so many good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's why we always tell people when we go on picks. I'm sure you do too. Is like, you know what? You don't have to walk away with a pick. If nothing comes out the way you want it, don't settle for the best one of the day.
Yeah.
If it's not a banger you think's going to sell out, then don't buy it. And
these are test towel. I'm gone. Bye.
Sometimes after 10 drinks though, it's
hard.
Really good.
It's really hard to say no too.
You're right. That's what I know a couple of them we've been on. We've tasted. We finally got to the very last one. I'm like, oh man, this is the best one ever. Well, Starlight was the one we did too.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is the best one, man. We're picking this. Didn't even have to go do any more tasting, but we'd already tasted like 35 barrels.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous, and we were all the way back going home. Shit, God, I hope that comes out good. I hope it's as good as we think it is, and it was. So it worked out.
Well, when we did the Elijah Craig pick at Heaven Hill, it was pretty much unanimous with the exception
of 2.
And Isaiah was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he picked like the least favorite out of everyone else.
Yeah.
And then almost everyone else picked the third.
Lisa was the only one that picked different. The one that she picked was the lower proof of all of them, and that's just her profile. She likes a little bit lower proof, and so that kind of got her. But the one we picked, we loved. So
good.
How many people do you normally take on you with picks? Because I think there's a.
What do we have, 7?
I think 5.
We had 7 on that one only because we wanted to bring a couple extra ladies on the pick.
But I think an odd
usually
number's
5.
Good too,
like. I think an odd number's good, and then I wouldn't do much over 7. I've done some with like 11 people.
That's too many people.
Yeah.
Like,
too many disagreements.
Too many.
Yeah.
Jen went on one at West Fork, and they had like 13 people.
Yeah. And I'll say, I mean, I do 5 is the magic number, I think, too. Yeah. And but one thing I like to do is, depending on what the pick's for, like for us here, we're a cigar lounge. So most of the people going on our pick, if not all of them, smoke cigars. But on someone like you that doesn't, you're doing picks for stores that they don't care about cigars or not. Yeah. It's always good to have someone that smokes cigars, maybe someone that smokes cigarettes, and then
that's
you
what
have
Jackie said.
Different people that have different palates, so that when you come together with something, it's going to hit a lot of palates, not just the cigar smoker.
Yeah,
it was interesting with the Four Roses pick because have you guys done that?
No, it's been so many years I've been to Four Roses.
I've been there, but I haven't done the pick.
So
it's been probably 10 years.
I've never been.
They take you back in the pick room, and it's just gorgeous building, and they've got all 10 recipes literally on a little carousel for you, and you're just like, it's 9 a.m. and they're all full pours.
Nice.
And you have at it. So, and that's a hard thing to do on day 2 or 3 after a 2-day bender.
At 9:15, Dan's like, "Can I get a refill?"
Yeah.
So, typically how I go is I'll knock off a few right away. I don't like this. Okay. But it's hard to do with 10.
10 of them.
And then I'm not sure how many people we had on that, but we wound up kind of narrowing it down to 4 or 5. And then we got our top, like basically 1 to 2. And then he's like, well, shit, I've already got that recipe. So it's smart on his end because he was like, I want to build a catalog of all 10 recipes, all 10 barrel picks. And so he's like, even though this one's our favorite, we're going to go ahead and go with the second best one because it's the recipe we don't have. And I was kind of like, I mean, it's your store. Because this one's so good, but at the same time,
why am I here?
It's a super smart move.
But at the same time, if you're going to build a catalog of all 10 recipes and have all 10 single barrels, I mean, that's one way to do it too. But I've been with some other picks where there's so many people, it's, you have 3 people that are coming in out of the woodwork that don't really know much about it, and they're throwing the whole pick off, and you're like,
this tastes like Post-it notes.
when was the last time you had bourbon? Oh, 2 years ago.
What?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Yeah. Well, it's like even doing double oak picks. They're very popular right now. Everyone loves them. But if you do a double oak pick today and you sell it out, and then another month you do another double oak pick, and then you do another one after that, people are going to at some point go, "You're going to do something different."
Enjoy live harness racing action at Harrah's Hoosier Park, Tuesday through Saturday through November 30th. First post on weeknights is 6:15 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturdays. Also enjoy the Hop Bebop concert series to go along with racing on Saturdays with local musical acts live from the Hop Outdoor Recreational Area from 7 to 10 p.m. Admission is free. Harrah's Hoosier Park, premier gaming in the heart of the Midwest.
Except for Rob. Yeah, look at this. Nice and pretty at home. It looks like shit here.
I'm not,
all right.
I'm
well,
not pretentious, you asshole.
Not at all. So we had a
damn it.
little snafu there with some power issues.
Are we recording now?
We are still recording, and
Yay!
I have a backup audio channel that's going straight to the camera now. So.
Yeah. So if this is like if it's like we're watching a Chinese movie where they're talking English but it's not,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, because all of a sudden it decided to
I'm pretty
tornadic downpour here
sure. Yeah.
for no reason.
Hard rain and
It's supposed to be clear skies, honestly.
and high winds right now knocked our power off. And guess what? 10 miles down the road, it's sunny and
Yeah,
perfect.
at my house. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. It's gotta be
Politics.
Obama's fault. God dang it.
Son of a bitch.
Dang it. Oh,
I really
well.
like Obama. Anyways, moving on. How we doing?
I'm feeling pretty good.
We could go there if we wanted to.
We're
but
going to
yeah, it's
seem like
fine.
we
Yeah.
drank way faster than we did because we lost about 30 minutes.
I did drink way faster than I did.
Well, other than the fact that you actually did do that.
Well, I was pouring pretty heavy on those first two. I'm like, I better slow down.
Yeah.
So again, we're into the pink bottle. This thing has got a lot more of the red fruit notes in it, which actually makes sense for the bottle. And I love this. I think I do like this one even more, even though they're both great.
Lower proof or 2 points
No,
higher?
this is 2 points higher.
2 points higher. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
116
it
on this
drinks lower proof than the other one does. So we were just talking a little bit off air because of the storm. You still have bottles of this to sell. So I'm telling you guys, these are 2 fantastic bottles. I mean, I'm so glad that we're in the world now that, sourced barrels are not a bad word anymore. And when people hear MGP, they realize it's going to be really great, especially when someone picked it.
Yeah.
So these are 2 bottles you can get. Where can people pick these 2 bottles up?
So if you contact me on Instagram at Heavy Bourbon, you find them there, or Rocco Wine and Spirits, ROCO wineandspirits.com. There should be a link, and he can ship those guys to you.
Do you have an agreement with Rocco to only distribute this one through him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a handshake agreement.
Yeah. Okay.
But do you have any? Do you have any places? I mean, I know you do picks.
It's not distributed, not in any stores except for out in Cali.
Okay.
Or if you're local to Indy, I can definitely hook you up.
Get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Heavy Bourbon,
Instagram,
Facebook, all of it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I might snag a couple of those.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Super solid.
I like those.
These would be a couple of great bottles for you to buy. Buy one for yourself and buy one to take to your local, meetup when you're going to be sharing bottles, because no one's going to bring this.
Right.
And you could bring something that no one's ever going to try. And I'm telling you right now, being MGP Juice, 5 years, both of them are about 5 years, almost 6.
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6. And you're not going to find something any of the MGP profile any better than these 2 bottles. So.
And you did both of these through MGP?
Yeah, through MGP.
Okay.
Well, no, through Cardinal Spirits.
That's right. That's right. Through Cardinal
Spirits. Yeah.
I don't know if that part's in there or not, so we'll say it again. Went through Cardinal.
Cardinal. Because the triangle matters.
The triangle matters. It would be cool to do a newer style of that with Whiskey House. That would be cool.
I've had a few companies come to me and, they say they want to carry on the Chugz legacy. which is fine. It's a good idea. I think right now personally, I think I'm getting more into the actual just the barrel picks. I'm having more fun doing that, and it's a lot less hassle than trying to offload 250 bottles or 200 and some bottles of each barrel. So it's been fun. It's been great. I think it just have to be the perfect opportunity, the right pairing to want to do that. So I don't know. I guess if someone else, if I could find more distribution, make that easier on me.
That's the key.
Yeah. Because man, I had a little sweatshop with just me, hand pumping all the airbags and then scotch taping it, and my forearms got huge, and not from masturbation.
Not this time.
Yeah. So
I got the wheel with the weight on it. That's what makes mine. I got weak wrists. Whatever. It's cool.
Oh,
it helps with my strength.
It goes downhill fast, doesn't it?
But Whiskey House stepping into the market doing, it's BBC, but those guys doing what they've always done.
BBC doesn't like it when you call them BBC.
Big.
It's so much quicker.
We
Bardstown Bourbon.
We did a pick.
Look how much time you just wasted.
We did a pick there, and I just kept saying BBC. And every time anybody posts anything online, I always put BBC and a fire emoji. And they're like, I don't think that's probably shouldn't.
I get it from a branding.
Sounds good, brother.
I do get it from branding side of it, because how many times do we say BBC and people are going, what do you mean? And if you're not explaining what BBC is,
they just duck immediately.
Yeah. But at this point, if you're a bourbon lover, you know what BBC is. That is actually more of an homage to them, that you're big enough now we can actually use BBC and people know what you are.
He used the word
big.
Big.
I don't think you guys realize how much this guy drinks.
Yeah.
That's one of the taglines for one of our guys here.
I don't think you understand how much I drink.
Except
for you, Scott.
Him. So that's where he is right now at the race in Iowa right now.
He's doing theirs.
He's an IndyCar race fan, and he's out there drinking and watching racing.
Shirtless, just like Indy?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, he was laying in a baby pool because it was so freaking hot out there. He was laying in it drinking bourbon. It was great.
I went one time many years back. I went to the Indy 500, and I got a Coke lot spot, and I felt like we just did it right. It was a miracle. Me and the buddy that I was rolling in with were even able to park next to each other because the damn traffic directors and everything.
Yeah.
But we got our spots right next to each other. I brought a tent canopy. We had cornhole. We had coolers. We had a ton of water. We could have filled up a pool with the amount of water
I'm going to tell you right now, as much fun as you had, next year, Carb Day.
List is getting bigger.
You guys.
All right.
Oh, yeah. We've got like 100 people coming to this thing. It's Scott's Campground in Lot 6. And I'm telling you what, is a party. We do the live podcast out there now. We're going to do that every year now.
We did
forever.
it last year. Now it's an annual thing.
We're inviting everybody to come out to this. It's Scott's Campground, but we're going to invite everybody out here. So you guys need to come out.
Dan had a slip and slide in a pool in his backyard, an inflatable pool in his party yesterday.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
We get wild. So I love the Indy.
Was it bourbon running down to keep it moist?
It was for me. I was sweating bourbon at that point.
Think about that. You accidentally snag a nipple or something like that, and it's just fucking
cauterize it immediately though.
So we typically
I healed so fast.
We typically do the snake pit for the 500. So I'm a big pit guy.
Are you? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. It is a different
you
pit from back in the
EDM,
80s.
right?
I like the EDM. I like the music. Like sweating on other people.
But okay, so if you're out there on Carb Day,
we'll come on out.
Stop by, man. I mean,
put your belly on them.
Yeah. It is so much fun. There's always, the key is when you walk onto the property, which it is their property. You walk out there and you have to take a swig off the Eagle Rare handle because that's the entry into the campground.
Say no more.
And then there's always good food.
But you want to get there early, though.
So
you don't want to be the last one.
You don't want the floaties. Yeah.
So pause real quick on that. How are you possibly going to have? How are you going to possibly have enough Eagle Rare to cover that many people coming?
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
So
next year we're
a commemorative swig off of an empty bottle.
No. We still do the one bottle.
Okay.
Our goal next year is to have that bottle gone by noon, not
before
9
we go
that
into
night.
the track.
Yes.
Well, if you bring Dan, it's going to be gone by the first 10 people.
Dude, I'll bring a second bottle if you chug the whole freaking 1.75.
Oh God!
Again, guys, we want to drink responsibly.
You know, actually,
yes, we will never do that.
Kylie saw that video just the other day. The video that's going viral for the guy chugging the whole Crown Royal bottle.
Yeah.
He just chugs it like waterfall. Like he doesn't even have lips on the bottle. Just chugs the whole thing, and then he cuts out. He's about to gag with maybe an ounce or two left in the bottle. He's just bitches.
that sounds horrible.
It sounds so bad, especially with it being Crown.
It's like, at least chug something tasty. Come on.
Do you guys even have Crown here?
Yeah, like
Probably
Crown
not.
Apple.
We've got Crown.
Oh, really?
There is a few people like Crown and Coke. I mean, Crown and Coke's like Jack and Coke. So we do have it.
It's the Michelob whiskey.
That's what you grow up on. It reminds me of your childhood.
Dude,
So
it is my childhood because when I was 16, I used to go out. It was Hooks back then. Now it's CVS.
Yeah.
And I would go in at 16, and I looked like I was about 13. And I would walk in, and I would get a box of Crown.
You didn't have a full beard at 16?
No. I started that when I was about 17.
Yeah.
Walked out, and they would never card me because what kid's buying a $30 bottle of Crown Royal at that age?
High roller.
I started buying that for about a year, and then after that, I started buying anything I wanted to, and they never carded me. So I was actually good.
He walked out with Cavassier.
So basically what he's saying, it's all about relationships, guys.
It's
so
all about relationships.
Make your relationships with your local liquor stores.
As long as you're 21.
Except for you kids. No kids.
That's what I feel like every single person, when they changed the tobacco law, I think it became a relationships game. I think a lot about that because that happened after I was well past 21. But think about all those people that were getting their hands on a can of Copenhagen at 16 years old or whatever, just all those type people.
Yeah, all tobacco.
Well, and the weird thing is the laws are not very clear. You have to be 21 to smoke cigars and get and buy tobacco, buy cigars, all that stuff. Or I'm sorry, not smoke, but buy.
There's not a lot of info.
If Dad
in there
buys
about
you a cigar
smoking.
and you're 18, I mean, what's the law on that? No one knows.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those.
It's
things
not a
where
consumption thing. It's a
not
purchase thing.
It's not. You're right.
All those 18-year-olds that were just outraged when 3 years got added on.
Dude, I'll tell you, the thing that pisses me off the most about that is we send our kids over at 18 to die for their country, but they can't come back and have a beer and a cigar. Wow. What the hell's wrong with that world?
You can get a hooker anytime, though. Sorry, never mind. That's a different story.
Well, that was when you went to jail. It's fine.
You don't have to be 18 for that one.
No, you don't.
I just was. Sorry. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, move on. All right. So let me at least say this part. So we do have a couple of events coming up.
We do.
One that you guys might want to come out to.
Yeah.
It's August 3rd, I believe. Let me make sure.
It is August 3rd.
Thank you.
So
it's the Heaven Hill release party of the Grain Glass series.
Yes, sir.
They're coming out here. They're doing the Midwest release party right here.
The new one?
The new ones. Yes.
I want to get my hands on that. Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm going to try it.
Well, we're definitely going to be getting some in here for pours. Obviously, I can't sell bottles, but that will be coming to that's actually starting to ship here really soon, actually.
I think I've seen some people.
I think it might.
She said Arizona has already got it.
Yeah.
Out
down
in Arizona.
Here in Midwest, I believe it's supposed to be shipping in the next week. But we're going to do the actual Heaven Hill release here.
That tracks out. Arizona would get it first, even though we're the next state over. That checks out.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super easy because FedEx and UPS can't make it one state over. Right. I can testify to that, by the way, because they don't.
They don't.
And they're terrible.
Yeah. Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana.
Well, I mean, you're retiring in Arizona. They have to have something to drink when they're retired.
You're going to retire out there?
Send them Jep the Creed. Send them Long Hunter.
Well,
it's funny.
Long Hunter's actually not bad stuff. It's
actually
some of those distribution
this is a great question
laws
I'd love to ask
wild.
everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is single-handedly, and it's probably going to be something that you had when you were younger, but single-handedly the worst thing you've
Kentucky Tavern.
Jeff the Cream.
ever tried?
Jeff the Cream.
I still say Kentucky Tavern.
All right, I got one, and it was because of the abysmal hangovers.
No.
Left.
I will change my answer. I got the right answer for that. Go ahead.
So in college, where I went to Wabash College up there in Crawfordsville, Indiana, sourcing good stuff can be pretty hard. You just kind of get accustomed to shelf names that you have a hard time affording. But I found myself at CVS one day shopping for liquor because it was a lot closer than the Kroger was. And I saw a bottle that looked like it carried the same shape as a Jim Beam bottle, but not the same label. And
Joe Bum.
I picked this thing up, and I was like, well, we're gonna give this a try, And me and my buddies we're drinking it, we're pounding it as quickly as we can. Because it did taste horrible, and the hangover, I mean, I kid you not, I have had some hangovers that lasted through, lunch on Sunday. I had a hangover until 8 o'clock at night on Sunday as a young man, and that just shouldn't happen.
No.
Yeah, I've been there.
Jethro T. Boots, that was you.
Jethro T. Boots.
Yeah, it was the original Jeff the Creed.
That might have been.
They rebranded as Jeff the Creed.
All right, Dan, what's yours?
So I like Jeff the Creed, the 6-year weeded bourbon.
Now.
Let's just go ahead and put that
Yes,
out there.
Batch
I have
one is
not had
terrible.
that yet.
I like
so
you, but I hate this one.
Look, sales reps know that batch one was garbage.
I will tell
so
you, I really want to see them succeed. I want to see something come out good.
I think
'cause
they're at the turning point.
Okay, so if you guys do get a chance, go visit the distillery.
Oh, I've shot weddings there. It's an amazing place.
It's good.
Yeah.
Have you been to the tasting room?
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Jeff the Creed, we already reached out to you.
Yeah.
You
Their sales rep.
You shunned Mike the first time, but the sales rep said we're in, so
Sales
we're
rep,
in.
super cool dude.
Yeah.
They're all super nice. So
Yeah.
we'll preface it with that too. Make better shit. Anyways,
the taste. Well, but it's the corn.
find new corn.
The tasting room is like you're in like a Game of Thrones. I mean, everyone's got a throne they're sitting on. With
It's intimidating almost.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
So
amazing.
cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I'll show you some pictures.
Wear
'cause-
your gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
All your
Absolutely
Game of
gorgeous.
Thrones gear in
Yeah.
there. That'd be great.
We got some cool pictures from there.
Nice.
Worst bourbon. I think all whiskey is good whiskey at some point.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The marketing man
The
comes
novelist.
out.
All right.
Comes out.
I hate shitting on whiskey because there's good parts of everything.
Oh, I'll
there's
shit
not.
on
I
one.
mean,
There's not.
except for Willet Pot still. I hate Willet Pot
Oh,
still.
dude, I'm with you. I hate it.
I
hate it.
God, I forget where I was at.
Such a beautiful presentation for such crappy whiskey.
Where the-
God, I'd love to drink some copper.
Where the hell was I? I was at someplace downtown, and I had somebody else buy in, so I was trying to be conscious of what we were spending, And so I'd asked for one of the Willet Purple Tops, one of the good weededs.
Which are good.
They're fantastic, And it was like 115 a pour or something. I'm like, okay, and I was like, that's a little pricey for me, but he's like, well, if you like that, you're gonna love the Willet Pot still. It's just another really good weeded, and I was like,
Oh, I haven't heard of that one yet.
oh,
Yeah.
that's, and he was like, and I think it was like $20 a pour.
Oh,
That's still
jeez.
overpriced.
Well, way overpriced, and they had
Give me $1.
Well, they had Eagle Rare for like $12 or something. I don't. The pricing was way off, and I just looked at him and I don't want to be a dick and super pretentious, but I was like, man, it's just not good. So
Yeah.
Got this really good stuff, and mind you, it'd turn into a great bong if you have the ability to turn it into one.
Dude,
I have
they're
those
beautiful bottles.
the bottle's
Especially
gorgeous.
if you get the 175. Oh my God.
Do you
this
remember-
is a beautiful bottle.
I think it was back in 2020. There was a rumor that they were not going to be releasing those bottles anymore.
They shouldn't because the
Well,
juice sucks.
and they shouldn't. But the whole thing, there was like a whole run on the bottle. Like everyone went out to buy them, and it was like I don't know if it was like one of those rumors that was released from them. But
I
they
do
were,
remember that because
Yeah.
there are some in circulation that are not the pot still. And
Okay.
it's not like the Jim Beam. It's a little wider than the square. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Man.
All right, Mike, what's your bad whiskey?
It's
I'm going to
Kentucky
finish it
Tavern,
off.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, only because I was gifted a bottle when I was much younger, around 21, plus or minus 6-ish years. Minus.
See,
So
I drank all the bad shit growing up.
I go down to the basement of my buddy's house, and he's like, here, drink this. I was like, all right. I pulled Dan Kidd out of myself, and I chugged that bottle.
Ugh.
Next thing I know, I'm face down on the stairs, and my buddy's dad's walking down the stairs like, what the fuck happened? We've been gone for 15 minutes. I'm like, So
I'll tell you tomorrow.
it'll always be Kentucky Tavern, for sure.
So my consolation prize goes to, and it's not the bottled and bond. I'm going to preface this. bottled and bond early times is actual good shit.
It is.
You know,
It
screw
is.
top bottled and bond is
Yep.
good. But the half-gallon plastic bottle that my buddy had at his house of early times was horrid.
Okay.
That one was
Okay.
bad.
Wow. So you know all the early time shit they're coming out with now, like all this crazy flavored shit. You seen all this?
No.
Oh yeah.
We'll look up names later.
Yeah.
There's like 50 of them, like cookies and cream.
So it's the new
like,
Burnett's,
Isn't it
basically?
Pretty
called-
much, it's the Burnett's of whiskey.
Isn't it called like old early times or something like that?
Something, yeah.
Like,
I don't- But they have like 50 different renditions of this flavored shit.
now I win. I win because
I know yours.
the worst bourbon of all time is freaking Starlight cigar batch. Amberana should never go into freaking whiskey.
I'll say there's.
and I'm saying it's not Starlight, it's Amberana.
So we had some of that
You
yesterday.
had a tasting
I pulled
yesterday.
some out
You
yesterday.
had the CT Crunch yesterday. But
So
kinda-
that's such a weird. It's such a weird, like, just if you want to destroy your palate.
I think
and-
you're saying it wrong. It's disgusting.
Okay, so
I didn't care for it either.
for a non-bourbon drinker, actually, so I did a little tasting with my neighbors, and so we had some, we had some of this and some of that, and I finished it with, because I was like, all right, if you're not used to drinking bourbon, again, we can kind of get into the flavored whiskey, because I think that's a fucking joke to
It
begin
is.
with,
It
but
is. Yeah.
the Amberana, it's just such an overwhelming. I was like, if you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you're probably gonna like this, because that's all you're gonna
I
get.
like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But it just, I think it destroys your palate. So
It does.
I had a buddy that this is back before all the Amberana, however the hell you say it, before all that got
Amberana, whatever, yeah.
super popular.
Just call it ass.
Yes, yeah.
It's just a cinnamon. It's a palate destroyer. And
It's
I
terrible.
told him that I was like, if,
Yeah, you never start with it.
if there's one drink at the end of the night,
You
and
never
I
go
just-
full Amber on
and I wanna have that, and I want that cinnamon taste in my mouth when I wake up in the morning. That's what I'll have. But
Yeah, it's a cinnamon funk that I just can't stand. But it's mostly like the ones like Starlight and some of the other ones that age it for 6 months or more.
yeah,
It's like, like Alan Bishop did one. We tried it when we were doing our barrel pick. He literally had staves in a vat for less than 24 hours. And I'm yelling at him, take it out now. It's fine now. It's fine now. And I tried an RD1 that had it maybe in there for like 6 days at the most. It was fine.
The RD one was pretty good.
It was fine.
It's not bad.
But it's when they start aging them for months and it pulls all that funk out of the barrel. It's wrong.
is that
It's wrong.
is that phase? Is that done now? I'm not sure if
God, I hope so.
Which one?
the
The Amberana one?
No, there's
Probably
still people
not.
coming out.
So RD1 actually hired a wood scientist
Mhm.
to play around with other finishes, of course. But I don't know. I doubt it's done. There's no way.
No.
Like, there's no way, because
Well, and I mean, you look at Starlight now, and it used to be they'd have the Starlight release, they would sell out in 10 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
and then you couldn't get it.
now
Now
they're
they've
not
got
selling out anymore.
it's on the shelves everywhere now.
Interesting.
I think the biggest thing for me for that started my thing was they called it cigar batch. I'm like, and it does not go with cigars at all. It ruins a cigar. So that was probably what sent me on my
What's Jack always
hatred.
say? He's like, everyone always says, oh, this has hints of leather in it. I'm like, did you ever lick leather?
what's
I'm
your
like, yeah, when I was younger. But
So on the
Last
Instagram
week.
feed, that Starlight posts up something about having a cigar batch or whatever, and then Rob's in the comments that thread saying hate from cigar or hate from Final Third.
No.
what's
And honestly, I
Sending
won't
hate.
I don't hate on
not Starlight.
For the people that like it, good on you. We don't like Jeff the Creed. If you like Jeff the Creed, good on you.
I like the 6-year weeded, by the way.
I mean, if you look at like Jim Beam White Label, not a big Jim
Yeah,
Beam
but they
White
sell
Label
it.
fan. But you know what? Someone
People
that
are buying
loves
it.
that stuff, guess what? You win the lottery because you get to buy a bottle for $15. It's like it's not a bad thing. It's always
it's
your
like the
taste.
benchmark.
What's your take on the Joseph Magnus?
I love their cigar batch.
So theirs is actually very tolerable.
because it
and I say
goes
that.
with
Never had it.
cigars. That's
Yeah.
why.
You've
It
never
goes
had
with
it?
cigars.
Never had it.
You don't have any left, do you?
I got some at home.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to
I'll
bring you
make
a
sure
sample
try.
then.
Yeah.
It's a different profile than what everyone else considers to be a cigar batch.
Now,
Well,
is that meant to be smoked with cigars?
Yes.
Was that their
Yeah.
meaning behind it?
With
Yes.
Joseph, yeah. Yeah,
because
with most of their
it's
stuff.
finished in sherry, Armagnac, and cognac barrels.
Okay.
So all those things go really nicely with cigars. So it's actually
smoky
does
finish
a
almost.
great job. Yeah. I mean, even just the silver label Joseph Magnus up there, it's everything but the Armagnac barrels. It's great with cigars. I just feel like if you're going to call it a cigar batch, it should go with a cigar. And that was my biggest deal. They were pulling it out because of the cinnamon and leather kind of shit going on there. I'm like,
we can't all be brothers of the leaf.
No,
Sending hate.
I'm not sending hate.
No. Brothers Leaf's another brand that's
Their
actually
stuff's
doing
actually
some good
okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Some of their new stuff is really good too.
Yep.
Do you know the story? Have you had any of their stuff? So this dude started it, MGP stuff, but the whole purpose behind his blends were to smoke with, or to have with a cigar.
Yeah.
But it's source stuff. And like in its infancy, I don't know how long he had the company, like when he started it. But the Henderson brothers bought him out after they sold Angel's Envy. So like, I mean, that's pretty freaking good. Like,
Do some more.
right after
more.
after he started blending his whiskeys, the Henderson brothers bought him out. So like, he's doing something right. And we've tried a few things. Here, I'll take a little more.
So I know you're very heavily involved with the bourbon world right now. Are there some brands out there that you're like super excited about seeing them starting to grow, or maybe not even growing yet, but you think they're going to make a big move?
I'll tell you what, man. I used to, and I think everyone grows in their whiskey journey. You start off and it's like, okay, whiskey and Coke, and then like whiskey on a big cube, and then, oh man, I'm so hard I can drink whiskey straight.
Yeah.
Whiskey neat, or whatever.
Fuck.
However it goes, then you kind of gravitate toward the higher proof. There was the longest time I was like, man, I hate rye. And then it would be like, I hate rye, but this one's good.
I don't think I ever had. Well, I guess with wheat.
So, I hate rye, but this one. And I kept saying that, and then now I'm like, okay, I can't say that anymore because I like rye whiskey. Sagamore. I saw a bottle of Sagamore over there.
Yeah.
I tried just some of their regular standard rye. They've got a whole because right now I think they're doing a whole grain to glass thing. So it's in Maryland. So they're it's from the fields of Maryland. It's not the Bloody Butcher corn, so I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
So they're
Bloody Butcher rye.
They're doing the whole the grain to glass thing. I'm like halfway through one of my bottles right now, and I think it's fantastic. And I'm super stoked. I've got a bottle of the double barreled, whatever that fancy bottle is over there.
Which one?
It's one of the Sagamore ryes.
We have the cast string.
Okay, yeah. So it's a
cast rye.
Is it double barreled?
Might
Or,
be.
so
I don't,
I don't remember. That was one of the ones that we did on the tasting that we did here.
Yeah.
So I'm
good.
That's been one of the kind of just random ones that's been kind of a stick out in my mind because I was surprised by how damn good it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get sent a lot of whiskey, and some of it's okay, and and I'm at the point now. My schedule's so busy. I try and review it or make a video of it, and I should probably do a little bit more research. I might take 7 seconds to Google, but I don't. I usually just crack it, and I'm like, okay, there it is. Or it's like, well, damn, this is actually really good. And that's been one for me. And again, for being a rye that I don't like.
Well, that's a good point because we talked about that last week, like looking it up and doing research on it. We had a couple guys up here from New Albany. Their channel is So Into Bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Hockersmith and Charlie.
Shout out.
They don't watch YouTube.
Yeah.
They don't watch other social media because they don't want anything to influence like their own opinion.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I think there's I think that's a part too because I used to watch all like Liquor Hound because the guy's got a million bottles, so of course he knows what he's talking about. And I used to really dive and spend hours watching all his reviews and everything else. And now it's like I know what I like. I don't want to watch a review and have somebody else, formulate my opinion for me because it's so easily done. I do all these tastings, and that's one thing I do is I'll try and, okay, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? What do you think about it? Because I can tell you, oh man, this tastes like leather. This tastes like blah, 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 whatever. This is the best stuff I've ever had. And I've made an opinion in your head on what I think you should say. And especially if you don't have the confidence and you're like, you don't feel up to, challenging me. Like if you don't want to say, I don't like that, then, you're not going to, and you're going to agree with me and you're going to formulate your opinion before you've already tasted it.
Well, and that's a great point when you're doing a barrel pick too, is we always tell people, don't shout out your notes.
Yeah.
Don't tell me caramel. because everyone's going to taste caramel
Fucking
as soon as you
tastes
say
caramel.
it.
Rob's sitting
Exactly.
in the corner going, vanilla.
Vanilla, caramel,
I love it. But that's the case. You know, as soon as you say some note, everyone's going to be looking for that note as opposed to trying to figure out what they think about it.
Yeah.
So
There's a
key.
couple names that you might know. I don't know. Prav, Seraph, Gordon Hugh, Cork and Bottle.
Yeah.
Those are two of the guys that I get to interview for
nice.
this documentary.
Nice.
So
Giraffe
Gordon Hugh
from like what, Kansas City, right?
Washington D.C. I think.
Aren't they in Missouri? Is that Ferrand? Sorry, I'm thinking Ferrand.
I think he might be on the list too.
Ferrand is in Missouri.
Yeah. But both of them are two, you know, original influencers, I guess you could call them, of, you know, the whiskey industry, between Cork and Bottle and, like, you know, the DuPont wines.
I am going to do full circle here.
Do it.
We're smoking the Crux Guild. We've been going an hour and 15 minutes on the cigar. I'm not even close to being halfway through the second, third yet. And I mean, this thing is burning really slow. It's got the nice baking spice notes that pop well with both of these two bourbons so far. This thing, every time I smoke it, I'm like, why am I not smoking more of these? So,
Nicaraguan, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so that, I think that's what gives me that creaminess out of this.
I don't remember if I mean, you can probably see on there better than I can. I think is it Ecuadorian Habano on the wrapper?
Ecuadorian wrapper, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper on it, but it's all Nicaraguan binder and fillers. So this thing is going really well. I mean, it's smoking slow. And I think I had to touch it up one time just because I was talking, but it's been burning ever since then. And I'm going to get 3 hours out of this cigar, I think. That's crazy.
I doubt that.
Watch me. We're an hour and a half in.
Watch me.
I just want to see you do it.
Watch me, asshole.
Hey,
I want to see you keep drinking for another 3 hours.
So we
Or another
were
couple hours.
talking.
I'm here till 6, baby. It's fine.
So we were talking a little bit about Heaven Hill, and we were also talking about research, and that's one area where I think I've actually fell kind of short.
Thank you to sponsor Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's DED Wood Live.
Especially given that I've got the question presented to myself. I have not bothered in the late night scrolling hours just to simply, you know, pull up a few pages and read.
Yeah.
But maybe you guys can tell me a little bit more about it, because at least if I'm not mistaken, Heaven Hill does both Rossville Rye and Pikesville, right? They do both of those?
Yes.
Why did I like Pikesville so much more? I have a barrel pick. I mean, granted, it was a total wine pick, Rossville Rye, barrel proof, but
Somebody else asked us this year.
Did they?
But honestly, Pikesville is delicious. It was not even a barrel pick of Pikesville. It's delicious, like 111 proof or something like that. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe the Pikesville.
I think Will brought it up when we were doing our pick. He was talking about the different differentiations between the
mash
two.
bills and the age.
I don't know what it is either. I think I'd have to agree with you though that I like the Pikesville better.
I do too.
I don't know like what it is about it. I think it's less. I don't know. Maybe it's more spicy.
I don't know.
Well, I think the Pikesville is actually a higher rye content, isn't it?
I'm pulling. I think
it's
got to be something about it, like a sweetness there. Like maybe there's more corn involved or something like that. But like I don't know what it is. I did a lineup myself, and I even tried to have Kylie kind of introduce them to me blind. And I'm like, nah, this one's definitely Pikesville, 100%. And
yeah, it's one of those that can definitely stick out if you're putting them side by side. I think my problem with doing blinds is you have to do a double blind and side by side, because if you don't, then I mean, what do you have nothing to compare it to, right?
Well, like, I mean, yeah, but like the real problem I feel like in rye is that there's a lot of them that wind up north of 100, and they're not really like marketing themselves as like a barrel proof rye or whatever. You know what I mean? Like Pikesville, I don't know if they identify as a barrel proof rye. Now the Rossville one was a barrel proof single barrel rye, but like we were talking earlier about getting your hands on that Jack Daniel's rye, and I'm excited because, I mean, ever since we tried that you came over. We tried that Old Foe, that batch 1 of that barrel proof rye that they got, and I got my hands on it.
Yeah.
Then I sip that stuff very sparingly because it's so good.
Oh man, that's one you don't want to let go. Like if you just gotta make it savor.
The only other two, well, I haven't even had the one of the two, but I'm putting it on a pedestal before I've even tried it, which is wrong to do. But we were at Half Liter that night, and we tried the Parker's rye, and that was
yeah, man, all those.
That's actually Heaven Hill too, right?
Most of those Parker's Heritages really hit. Especially that rye. The last few ryes that they've done have been just absolute banging.
I know I've had some, but I just haven't gotten real big into a lot of things that they have put out in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just have so many other things that we drink and try. Like,
and I mean, if you look at price too, I mean, to get into to step into it is really. It's a high. It's what I mean. I don't know what's the MSRP on this, like
139, 140 or something.
And then I mean, you're looking at secondary $500,
right?
All right.
If it's
so
a 21st
the big
Amendment, it's
difference
500.
is the Rossville, or I'm sorry, the Pikesville has more malted barley. So the Rossville is a blend of MGP, 51 rye, 45 corn, 4% malted barley, and it's also blended with a 95 rye, 5 malted barley. The Pikesville, though, is 51 rye, 39 corn, 10% malted barley.
So way less. Yeah, so it's the higher malted content.
And that one's made at the Bernheim. So Rossville is actually a blend.
I wonder if that was the shit they lost. Did you see that? When
it's a blend of
the
so it's a blend
spill
from MGP.
Yeah.
Rossville is. So so that's the difference. Pikesville is
Bernheim
all
is pretty
Bernheim,
good. I mean,
and Rossville is MGP.
Bernheim's pretty good.
Yeah,
that would make sense that I would like it more than. Not saying MGP is lesser. I just would find probably more delight in something that came from Bernheim.
Yeah, me too. Except for
I want that
Weller.
creek juice. Well,
okay.
Now,
So speaking of weeded, so you mentioned a lot of weededs earlier.
Yeah.
What's your goats? Give me like your top 3 weededs. I mean, we know Jeff the Creed's up there with that.
Right now, it's got to be Jeff. No, right now I think number 1 would probably have to be Whiskey Acres, because they're predominantly weeded mash bill.
Is it this one that we're getting ready to try here in a bit? Okay.
Jump into it whenever you guys
number
are ready.
Two,
I'm still nursing.
Larceny,
barrel proof.
the 123, the A123, and the C923.
I was gonna say probably. I think the C923.
The C923 was my favorite.
What was the first one that they had? Was it a
A515 or something like that? Or?
Was it? The Larceny's first barrel proof was a banger.
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. I think I might have a bottle of
I've
that.
heard a lot of people say
much of it. I loved it.
I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like the A124 this year. We tried it at the track.
Will said the A124
was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I still think the C923 was better.
I don't know what a third would be.
No, I'm sorry. I think we had the 523 out there.
Yeah, no love for Weller, huh?
The only Weller I like is William LaRue. William LaRue is fantastic. All the other Wellers I'm not a fan of.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Sorry.
This man knows me.
Sorry, it's okay to be wrong, Garrett.
That's okay. That's what my school teacher told me.
I know.
If your opinion's different than mine, then you're wrong.
Exactly.
I don't like you.
Yeah, I mean,
there was
100% can be messed
100%.
up really easily.
Do you remember the 100% wheat that we had? Which one was that? It's been a while.
I don't know. I drink a lot of whiskey. So
You
I don't remember.
drink a lot.
I rely on you guys to tell me what I drink.
Somebody brought it in. It wasn't a brand that we have here.
I will say I'm
was a
not sold.
sample.
I'm not sold on Rebel very, very much. Rebel Yell.
I've only had it once.
Or
and I
Rebel
don't
Yell, they
remember
went
anything.
away. Now they're just Rebel, right?
I stopped drinking them after they took the yellow away.
I just want to yell.
Just out of
Yeah.
Come on, man, Billy Idol. But Weller Foolproof store picks. I have a hard time saying no to those. I'm kind of a sucker for those. I do like those, but
Can't say I've had any store picks.
I guess
I've had
maybe we can crack that one of the few I've got.
All right.
I've got 3 left.
I think maybe 3, and maybe even this could be 2, would be the soft red wheat from Holiday.
Ben Holiday. That actually is really good weeder.
It's sweeter than a lot of the other ones.
I haven't had it yet, but I guess I'll give Jeff
the red wheat gives you a little bit of the spice of rye.
It does,
but it's still wheat.
It reminds me of the Barton 1792 sweet wheat, but it's better.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sweet wheat.
I will say I hate regular larceny.
It's definitely cheaper.
I'm not a fan of regular larceny.
Regular larceny
no.
is no.
And for those that like it, again, it's an affordable bottle. So
like, you remember that one time when Bobby was talking about Kentucky Owl confiscated?
Oh,
and he dumped it down the toilet on a video on purpose.
Hey, it cleans the toilet, man. It's great.
That's
a creep. You'll leave a funk on your toilet,
larceny.
but that's fine.
Just a red line.
Exactly.
I don't know. Nobody said on their weeded stuff. Of course, we haven't gotten to you guys yet, but Bernheim. I mean,
I like Bernheim.
It's okay. It's very okay.
It just depends. Yeah. It has to be a special wheat for me to like it.
I mean, if you're not talking price, I mean, if you're looking at price point, I mean, what's Bernheim at, the $30 bottle?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
That's
no price point.
Again, that's why I like going into some of these things not knowing how much they are, because I'll try a new brand. I'll be like, oh, okay, this was fine. And I look at it and it's $120 bottle, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's not that fine.
Yeah. That is true. I mean, price definitely comes into it.
I did a massive. We had like 8 guys, and we had a big scoring list, and everyone brought a bottle, and on the scoring was taste, nose, everything else, and then the price was all factored in there.
Right.
And so we tried to make it under $100, but if the bottle was a $30 bottle versus a $100 bottle, that kind of depended on the score. And so that was kind of a fun way to do it. But I mean, once you get price in there, I don't know.
It changes your perspective.
It changes the perspective a lot, because
yeah.
if I'm gonna enjoy a pour and I'm dropping it, $115 on a pour at a nice restaurant, how much am I gonna enjoy it? How much do I want to enjoy it? I've had a lot of $115 pours that I've absolutely hated, and I'm like, God, I'm shooting myself for buying this.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, we always talk about this too. Benchmark foolproof. It definitely punches above its weight. But if that was a $100 bottle, I might think different. But I know I spent $15.99 on that bottle, and it's absolutely delicious.
Are you calling it benchmark foolproof, or are you calling it baby stag?
Don't call
baby stag.
Don't call baby stag.
Don't ever call it baby stag.
I mean, I get why people say that, but it's a different animal.
Yeah, no, that
and it's also affordable.
I remember that Facebook Live, I think it was.
Yeah,
where that was marketed as such.
Yeah,
and I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
If you think about it, it's smart. It's not right. It's smart.
Yeah,
it is not right, but it is smart.
It just gives the distillery the option to raise the price to $40 instead of, hey,
nailed it.
Hey, he dropped it. I didn't do it this time. This is great.
Shot right out of my mouth.
Look at you. You haven't dropped shit today.
Bum.
Nice. So the 7-year Whiskey Acres.
Yes.
This has the soft red winter wheat. So it's 75 corn, 15% soft red winter wheat, and 10% malted barley. So whenever you're done with this port,
jump into that.
So where's that Ben Holiday from?
Ben Holiday's out in Missouri.
Yep.
Missouri?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the city, but it's in Missouri.
Ben Holiday is one that, like, Jack, how you pronounce his last name?
Bettigoo?
Yeah.
The Hood Sommelier.
The Hood Sommelier. He actually thinks that Ben is going to be it's going to be the next big brand across the U.S.
I'll tell you.
Honestly, I'm not thinking he's wrong.
Bourbon Lore. You guys familiar with them?
Yeah.
They did
Pass that way.
They did that. They did their pick. That was really smart. I mean, they bring the lore behind everything. I talked to the guy behind that, and he said that was his whole idea. I know that sold out like ASAP.
Oh yeah.
So I've had a few of the. I get angry with myself because I can't spell it. HOLLO.
ADOADAY.
I don't know. My spell check always messes it up, and I get mad when I'm typing in.
Yep.
I like that. I've only had a few of them. I need to go back and revisit them because I think that'd be one that I would.
I like the fact that they released 2 regular releases at, they call it Rickhouse proof, 120 proof ish. And I like the fact they put it out that way. If you want to prove it down yourself. Mm-hmm. Too many of these small distilleries start releasing stuff at 80, 90 proof, trying to hit the masses. And if you don't catch the bourbon crowd, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of our things with with West Fork we've had before, as they're trying to release
so glad you said that.
a lot of stuff. But I will tell you, we've tried some of their stuff at Castring. It's absolutely delicious.
The higher rye that's like 128 right now.
Well, when we were there, we tried a Bloody Butcher wheat.
I was just gonna say that,
and it was my winner of the day. It was absolutely freaking delicious.
I think it was high up with that one.
No, your beef with it is not the corn itself. It's like you said, it's a moldy tasting corn.
Oh yeah, it's because it's moldy.
It's
moldy
not the corn
Butcher
itself.
So we were at Wood Hat, and Gary brought out a cooler of Bloody Butcher that had started molding, and he said, "Smell this," and I immediately smelled it. I'm like, Jeff the Creed. He's like, "You're not wrong." And everybody that smelled it said, "That smells like Jeff the Creed." And he's like, "Yeah." He said, some distilleries will still use the corn, and some distilleries, which he was talking about Jeff the Creed, will use it specifically because of that funk note in it. But when he did his Bloody Butcher, he was making sure it was clean, dry Bloody Butcher, and it tasted totally different and
So
very
what you're
delicious.
saying is it's like a blue cheese Bloody Butcher.
Oh, it's
corn.
disgusting.
Well, it's just like chicken nuggets. Like there's a certain ratio of human fingers that are allowed to go in the batch. So like, there's a ratio of.
Shout out Wendy's.
Shout
That's
out
the chili.
Wendy's.
That's the chili. Actually.
Shout out Saucy Nugs.
Saucy nugs. Oh my god!
But the Whiskey Acre stuff is great too, because like everyone says, grain to glass. Their motto is seed to spirit, because they have a master farmer and master distiller. So they are literally propagating their own seeds to grow.
Can you buy it around here? Or is this something that only comes?
Yeah, it's now in Indiana. Yeah,
Shout out Indiana Small Batch.
Indiana Small Batch is distributing it right now. I don't know what liquor stores, but I would guarantee Town Spirits there in Hamilton Town Center area should have their product, because that's where it usually
The gas
goes first.
station store?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yep.
No, they got that store over by Geist now, next to my favorite butcher shop, Moody's.
Yeah, I think they're there too.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But they actually, like he was talking about, they've actually, they're master farmers, and the master farmer, and I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
It was somebody in Jamie's family. I
Ichabod.
believe.
Yeah. He
Yeah. Ichabod Crane.
He actually merged corn from Italy and Minnesota,
Yep.
and created a new corn varietal. And actually, it was the sweetest corn that they had out there. They had sweet corn fields, they had this field, and they had all their corn fields around it. The birds and deer would not go anywhere but that one crop because of the corn. So they had to get drones and run everything off, all that stuff. But we tasted the white dog of this stuff, and it's probably the best white dog I've ever tasted in my life.
It's a hybrid.
It's going to be aging. It's going to be aging for another 4 or 5 years probably before they're actually releasing it, but it's going to change the game for them. They're going all in with it. And they were so worried because they're like, this is so much more expensive. We're going to have to raise our prices. And we're like, what are you going to raise your prices to? He's like, well, our castering's probably going to be around that $70 to $74 range. I'm like, done. Go. We're in.
That's pretty common these days too.
Yeah, but $74 for a castering bourbon, a really good bourbon, is nothing anymore. So
Farm crafted, is that a new term? Farm crafted?
I was right.
Like a big old
they're coming up with it. Yeah, they're doing it. Yep.
It is Jim. Jim is the master farmer. It's Jamie's father. So Jamie still knows a lot about he's part owner. He's well versed in the farming industry as well.
I would say that would be a good place for you guys to go check them out. They're doing things a little bit differently.
It's unorthodox.
It's very unorthodox, but they're super nice guys. The master distiller there is fantastic. He's doing some crazy stuff. They're all doing great stuff there.
So once you go there, because I know you're going to go there. When you go there,
Whiskey Acres. When I go there,
when you go there, it doesn't look like you're in the right place. Because there's not.
It looks like a farm.
It looks like, that's all it is. It's a farm. You have a nice, pole barn in the front that's like their tasting room, event
Which
center.
is a really beautiful tasting room.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But their rick houses are reused like World War II hangars.
Grain silos.
And
all that.
silos.
Yeah.
So all their barrels are stacked in old grain bins.
Yeah.
Super cool.
It is very cool.
It's a cool tour.
Which, honestly, if you think about that, too, being the metal barns, you're in northern Illinois, just like 45 minutes west of Chicago. You're probably going to be able to get a little bit more of that heat transfer in a metal barn as opposed to just a regular rick house up in northern Illinois.
Well, too, and some of that, it reflects most of the heat. So, like, it still is very temperamental with like the heat fluctuation. So yes, there is a little bit more heat fluctuation
during
but
the
also
summer. It's going to get warmer, but yeah,
most of that.
Yep.
Which
So-
is kind of the point.
Was it Eric Jansen that got you put
Eric
on the
Jansen.
DJs?
100%.
Yes,
100%.
That's from not far from his hometown.
Shout
Yeah, it was
out
like an
Eric,
hour.
who will
Yeah, shout out.
be in attendance tomorrow with
Yes,
us.
sir. Yep.
Yeah, so he got us hooked up with Whiskey Acres, got us some tastings. We went up there with small batch to
Honestly,
kind of.
he's 100% the reason why
Oh,
Indiana
100%.
Small Batch has
Oh,
Whiskey
yeah.
Acres now.
Yeah.
He is the guy. Yep.
So we will also be at West Fork in, I guess, like a week. Holy shit, that's next Saturday. We will be at West Fork
No, we
for
won't. We'll be at Old 55.
the 21st, though.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
be at
talking
Old
about
55 on the
20th.
20th.
Okay, I got
On the
you.
21st,
I'll
we'll
talk
be
about
at West Fork.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I will be at West Fork with Small Batch and Spencer Lee's
Oh, good for you.
with ARPO. It is Alliance of Responsible Pet Ownership, some nonprofit pet
Yeah.
thing.
good deal.
Sean White works for RNDC, not the snowboarder. Just a guy that works for RNDC.
might
His
be the
wife works for ARPO.
Come out. It might be the guy that
Yeah,
actually
come
is
out.
a snowboarder.
It could
Yeah.
be. I'm going to be very surprised if it is, but I don't think it is. We'll be sampling some of the Whiskey Acres, maybe some Jay Mattingly stuff. Just kind of pouring it up. So
Nice.
Cool.
we'll be sampling some of that stuff.
Have you guys done any picks with West Fork yet?
I did. I did a influencer pick a couple years back.
Okay.
With West Fork, they just had a bunch of random people in, and
Ask for the
Was
green Oaxacan.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
so I'm supposed to be doing a triathlon next Sunday, and I've got to chug a bottle of West Fork while I'm before, during, and after.
Heck yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
What are they going to give you, like the house bourbon?
Well, I've got they gave me a few different bottles to choose from, so I've got a bunch of them in my house, and I got to.
Their Bloody Butcher's pretty good.
I gotta-
Like the regular Bloody
Hey Blake, get him a sample bottle of the Bloody Butcher wheat.
We'll see how this goes. I still have to. I got a swim bike run my way through all this, so.
Okay, maybe not
chugging
the
while
highest
you're
proof.
swimming?
Well, so my plan is to have them toss. It's in the canal downtown, so I'm gonna
Super clean body of
I'm
water.
gonna
Yeah.
swim, and if they toss me a bottle, I can chug out of it, and then
No ID.
Isn't there a ton of like foliage in the canal that you're going to have to swim through?
foliage.
A few cars.
They cleaned it out a couple years ago.
Well, yeah, it's funny.
It
So
doesn't
they
have all those like.
well they dredge,
Alligators?
they dredge it every 3-4 years, and it's like they find like wheelchairs,
Fingers.
and bowling balls,
Cars
Yeah.
that are driving on the ice. Yeah.
all the bird scooters and everything else. So
I bet they find a lot of those.
Murder
it
weapons.
should be a good time. But yeah, so they've got a Bloody Butcher I should try.
Their Bloody Butcher is actually really good. I meant to bring a lot of the stuff today. I had a whole
Dude.
backpack full of shit, and I left it at home. Oh yeah.
We got like 15, 20 bottles
yeah.
back there.
We'll get
of their
to that.
stuff.
We'll finish this
We can
one
do
first.
that.
Aren't
yeah.
you sponsored by Elmo's for this?
No, this is a West Fork sponsorship.
Oh,
Ooh.
so well, you've been practicing a lot in
In the Elmo gear.
in the
Yeah.
Elmo
When is
gear.
this?
Nice.
When is this?
This is next Sunday.
Next.
Oh, the
I can't be there.
21st.
I'm training right now.
I can see that.
We're conditioning.
I'm conditioning my liver.
yes, yes.
I took 2 months off, and now I'm back. Here we go, baby.
Yeah.
So that's a
never-
good question.
We are back.
Because I know I know you drink a lot.
Yeah.
You were off for
How much does this guy
75 days.
Well, I
Almost.
I didn't make it.
Okay.
I was trying to do the 75 hard, no drinking.
Made it to 74 and
I
said,
made
"Fuck
it.
this."
Well, no, I made it to about 60, and I was like, okay.
That's still 2 months,
I
dude.
said if I have like a whiskey opportunity or I do things for different restaurants and other things, and I got to shoot a thing for 1933, and it was I was trying to promo one of their, it was like the bourbon, whatever, the bourbon National Bourbon Day,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and so I had a bunch of fantastic. I had like the Will Purple Tops and some of the Heaven Hills, and
Pot still.
all this other stuff, and I was like, I can't just fake like I'm drinking it, so I got
Ouch.
the pot still. No, they had some of that Jep the Creed 6-year weeded, which was really good. So-
It is. It's okay.
So anyway, I got to do
It's
all
better.
that. I was like, this is, so I started, and that was kind of my downfall, and then it just kind of all tumbled out of
Open
control
back up.
from there.
Yeah. But I mean,
So-
God, 2 months off, and
So I took 2 months
that's
off. And
That's a
I'm,
lot.
Now we're back into
That's
it.
cool, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
take 2 days here and there.
I did a dry January, but I
About
got to like
12
the
hours.
22nd or something like that.
It's it's good to just make sure you're not dependent.
Yeah.
Shout out Logan. He's doing the 75 hard right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had banked up a bunch of content before July, to be able to continually post through July without having to break the
I'll tell you what,
cycle.
that's a lot
That's
of
hard.
it. That's a lot of
Yeah.
it about social media. Like, I started dating this new girl, and her boyfriend gets on me, and he's like, I don't fucking get it. Like, you're out there drinking to the pool every day and blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I'm up at 4 a.m. Like, I'm training at 5 a.m.
Wait, what the
Yeah.
fuck did you just say?
My girlfriend's brother.
I thought you,
said
said
girlfriend's boyfriend.
Sorry, I've had a few drinks. My girlfriend's
It's an
girlfriend's-
open
my boyfriend's-
relationship.
My girlfriend's brother got really upset with me.
My boyfriend's dad.
So he thought I was out drinking every day, and I was like, I don't think you understand like content creation. Like, most of my posts come out at 6 a.m. So
I don't think you understand how much I drink.
Sorry, Mr. Boyfriend.
So we'll do I'll batch a bunch of content, and then I can slow release it throughout the week. So I'm like, as many people may be disappointed in this, I'm not drinking every day. I drink a lot, but I don't drink when I drink a lot. But I don't drink every day.
We'll cut that part out.
Is this your career, or do you have another?
No.
Okay.
I'm a personal trainer.
Okay, that's why I was thinking.
He's a liver trainer.
I've
been a client
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
He whipped me into shape.
So I do.
Nice.
I do. I own a personal training studio. So drinking and eating in excess, like, go.
Good. We need to chat.
go hand in hand. So
Yeah.
but
My
yeah,
thighs are rubbing.
some girls like that. But it's a
I have no gap left.
it's the thigh gap's very important. It's but a lot of people see it and they don't understand the so some of it's parody. You can reuse, you can repurpose a lot of content.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it, but I mean, for the most part, if you're smart with it, you can batch content. Because I'm not waking up every morning at 6 a.m. and chugging.
Right.
I'm not doing a lot of this stuff. This could be
During COVID, you could probably get away with that.
during COVID I did because I didn't have a job.
Right.
But for as far as all this stuff goes,
Pass me that 7, Rob.
there we go.
I'll get into it.
Pásamela, por favor.
Yeah, what he said. Punta de la Puebla.
Yes.
This is 100% wheat.
No.
No,
This
no.
is 75 corn,
Okay.
15 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soft 15 soft red.
Well, and that's one thing, we talk about this on the show a lot because, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, someone tastes grain and a lot of people first thought is, oh, it's young.
Mhm.
And what they're doing is they're actually spotlighting the grain. They want you to taste the grains because that's obviously the unique part of their whiskey.
I got a lot of corn on this.
You
A
do,
lot, yeah.
but you can taste but you can also tell the fact that's 7 years old, and you can still taste the grain in it.
Yeah, it's not young.
It's not lost
It's
the grain
purposeful.
notes, and it's very purposeful. So I like what they're doing. I like the fact that some of these smaller distilleries are starting to figure out that grain forward is actually a good thing. It doesn't have to be a young thing.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
That's a good T-shirt. Pro grain.
Pro grain.
This is my crop top.
Hmm?
It's my Whiskey Acre shirt.
Yeah.
That might have got cut out too. Who knows? So with, batching content too, like we do the same thing. I mean, most of the reels and shorts that I post, short of like the reposts and remixes, they're just cuts out of the podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we'll cut 30 to 45 seconds out of something that we say stupid on the podcast. And then every Sunday night I'll post, the week's worth of content for YouTube.
Yeah.
Because we're leaning pretty heavy into YouTube. Instagram's just another thing, it's just to get people, get their attention into it. But it is hard. It's hard to do that.
It's
But-
the creative process behind that it's very interesting, and it's been a fun ride, and it's interesting with just the way I don't want to say that I understand the algorithm, but the way that the algorithm changes from
Daily.
they want they
God.
want certain things, they push certain things, and I'll have stuff that I'm like, oh, this is gonna hit, and then I've got 5,000 views on it. I'm like, damn it, that didn't really hit. But again, I'll take stuff, I'll repost stuff that I did 2 years ago, and I'll put a funny caption over it or something like that, and it blows up, and I'm like, great, that was easy. So it's funny because a lot of times when I'm not drinking, that's when my content numbers just skyrocket.
Really?
And
And I think you're at a point too to where like you don't have to do the same thing over and over?
No, I don't. And the thing is, a lot of times, even my friends and family, they're like, Jesus, are you okay? Like we're worried about you. And I'm like, I'm sober, man. Well, not right now, but like,
Yeah.
but
at that point,
that was
Every
so
other day, but today.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you also look at the time that I'm posting at 6 a.m., it's not. I'm not drinking at 6 a.m., man.
Yeah.
Like,
Look, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and the sun is behind me. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
do you guys know how the sun works?
Yeah.
Like, come on. But, with Instagram, like that algorithm is ridiculous.
Oh,
I mean, it changes weekly, daily, like,
yeah.
and it just pushes people down.
Mhm.
But
One of your favorite areas, I feel like, is actually not fighting, but indulging with the comments thread. Some of those comments, warriors, like you said before,
yeah.
you can put anything in a keyboard and type it in, but
I embrace that because I've got a lot of people like alcohol is a poison and blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, yeah, it is, but so thanks to your post, you're pushing this out to more people that will see that, and then like, if you realize that if you comment on this post, you're going to get more alcohol related posts.
Yes.
So I appreciate your
just respond with hashtag FYP.
no, it's so a lot of I called out a guy today. He was like, "What is this shit?" And I was like, "Well, this is a post of a lady dancing, and she's doing this," and I put the caption over it, and that's exactly what this is. So I like to call it the clowns, and it's God, I don't know. Again, I'm not promoting underage drinking. I'm not promoting too excessive drinking. I mean, I love drinking in excess, but again, I know my limits, and I've got an Uber home, everything else like that. All the good responsible
Garrett's
stuff.
The Uber.
Yes.
But it's like, if it's not for you, then scroll on by. If
Exactly. Yeah.
Half the fare, twice the distance.
If you want to comment, then do it. It's only going to boost my algorithm. So I love it. I don't
tell people that.
No, I do tell them
Please,
that. I
please
call
post.
them out.
Please hate me. It's great.
I do.
We love it.
The hate's the best part. The hate is the best part.
hate from Australia.
The funny thing is, usually
My favorite
the
one.
hate comments,
Uh-huh.
you don't even have to comment because your followers will start commenting on the hate.
They
comment.
do, but I like to shout them out, and I like to give them the spotlights and do like a little clown circle of the fucking bump the music in the background, and I think because it only makes them more mad, and then they comment again, and then it just keeps it going, and I'm like, thanks for 2 million views, man.
Yeah, you're awesome.
This is working well.
So
That's great.
On Wednesdays, me and Logan are gonna start doing a live on Instagram.
Yeah.
For like what we're drinking or just hanging out, having a good time. You should join us.
I don't have time, man. I work throughout the week. It's like,
well, we'll do it at 6 a.m. when you're free.
Dude. No, I got a great idea. Between clients, you have him and Logan pumping weight, drinking whiskey.
I'll say, if you guys want to come in, you can come into my gym. We can pump some iron. We can do a little podcast. We can that'd be so much fun.
Okay.
I can do that, and
we'll do that.
My other clients throughout the day will have such a much better workout.
All right. I'll talk to Logan because he's in that 75 hard, and I'm in the 4-hour hard. So
4 hour.
I'll tell you, if you have a erection lasting more than 4 hours, you should definitely contact me.
They
stopped answering my phone calls. Actually,
I try to take about 8 hours off a day from drinking. It's usually sleep.
I try and take some time off. Yeah, that's a good one. I try and take some time off drinking. At least 8 hours a day.
Exactly, that's me every day.
That's solid.
Every day, it's fasting.
Good for you, Rob.
It's fasting.
Good for you.
solid.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I hope you know that.
I know you are.
I took that button off too, but
Oh, yeah, you did.
it was the Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
I hope you know that.
Yeah,
What do you think of the Whiskey Acres then?
That's good.
Tell us your thoughts.
Again, I think it's grain forward, which is nice. I think the backstory leads a lot into it. So
That's
you got to
hard,
go talk to him.
That's the hard thing too. Like you were talking earlier about that, where you just get blinds and you try it and you're like, not a big fan.
Yeah.
But then you have the brand show up and they tell you the story and you get to know them. Now all of a sudden you have a relationship and you're like, okay, I appreciate this more. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of people when they go out and they go to local distilleries and they try their stuff and they fall in love with the distillery.
Yeah.
It may not be just the juice. It may be the relationships.
And
And that's a good thing.
A lot of it is too, and I try not to shit on anybody. Like
Nope.
I know Jeff the Great's gotten a hard knock today.
We give him crap, but we still give him a shot.
But again, there's families, there's people behind that, there's people that's jobs depend on that. So, and there's people that like it. Again, I've got a buddy that's I trust and I respect his opinion. I don't agree with him all the time, but he loves it. He loves that bloody butcher corn funk that Jephthah's putting out, and he's the one that because Jephthah sent me the bottle of the 6-year weeded. I was like, man, I haven't really been in love with any of their other stuff, but he's like, just give this a try.
Yeah.
And so he goes, set it to the side, and I set it to the side, and I did enjoy it. So it's
Good.
like I don't want to just put like a blanket hate out there for anybody.
No.
So
well, again, Starlight. I hate the Amberana,
and we're going there tomorrow.
But I love Starlight. I love the people. I love a lot of their products.
They've got.
I don't have to like everything they make, and that's okay.
And you don't have to. And that's part of it. You don't have to love everything they do. And
exactly.
I've got so many friends that will do tastings, and I'm like, dude, give me your honest opinion. If you don't like, we can agree on we both love the Heaven Hill 10-year.
Yeah.
You like the Heaven Hill 20,
and you don't.
Corn Forward, I don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just one of those like.
That's the beauty of this.
I wouldn't mind revisiting an opinion on.
We don't have to like everything. And, it's like Stag.
Yeah.
I love Stag. I love George T. I like Juniors. I like the new Stags. I like all of it.
Yeah.
But some people don't. You know what? That's okay.
That's okay.
Don't buy it.
That's okay. Yeah.
Vote with your dollars. It's easy. It's very easy.
That's a big thing. Vote with your dollars.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So we've done a handful of stag picks. Talking about the double blinds.
I want to get a bottle of that pick of yours, a stag pick.
Yeah,
I need to find a way to get a bottle.
I'm sure he's got a few held back. I don't even have a bottle.
Damn it! Well, you need to get two. One for you.
I'll get a couple.
All right.
It was a fun day, but I've done a handful of stag picks where we do batch 6, 8, 9, 12, whatever it is.
Blind.
Yeah, and it's like we're doing 4 or 5 of them, and every time it's like, oh my god, that was the best one. It's usually again the last one because that's the best one. But then you
remember.
But then you change up the order, and you're like, well, shit,
Now that's my favorite.
That was a wild night.
But it's such high proof that you're like.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're all so good too. So it's hard to. They're all my babies.
That's a weird thing to say. That was a wild night in your basement, bro.
No, we did a blind of like
tarps on the wall.
Six of them, them at least. Like
so you're doing six stag barrel strength picks, and
I would like that because I think a lot of the stag juniors that we've tried were like some were really good and some were really bad. So like I would love to do a blind of like 6 or 7 of them together. Because they're so freaking good.
It's so interesting and
you brought the truth.
So I'll tell you what, we did a I love WOW. I love WOW, but I did a 21. I know you said it's one of your favorites. I did a 21 blind. Now granted it was a fresh crack right off the bat, and I was like, man, this is not hitting. This is not hitting. It wasn't till
Stag 21.
No.
Oh.
WOW.
Was that when? Oh,
gotcha. Okay.
No. Well, no. The last few WOWs have been absolute bangers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think I did a 19 and a 20 and a 21, and for whatever reason, they just didn't hit for me. And
I think we killed a 20.
So I
was a 20.
I want to go back and revisit them because again they're fresh and
get a little air in there, let them sit out,
let it air out and everything. So it's how fair is it to judge it off the first,
right?
And what'd you have to eat, what'd you have to drink before that? And, the first 2 times I did it, they were at least the 20 and the 21, 19, 20, 21. It was like 9 in the morning. I'd been out drinking the night before, hadn't had any breakfast.
Well, and that is a key that people need to realize is, depending on what you ate that day, what you drank that day, what time of day it is, what mood you're in. Your mood will change the way you enjoy whiskey. Same with cigars. It's like you keep track of that stuff, because if you're in a shit mood and you walk in and you're like, oh, I want my mood to get better, I'm going to get a cigar and a bourbon. You're like, oh, those sucked. I'm like, well, no, your day sucked.
Yeah.
You're not going to enjoy anything no matter what you do now. But if you have to pay attention to that, you want some of this now?
Pass that over. I'm going to kill this and then that.
So
Toss me one of them knuckles too.
This is the Old Clifty 141 proof apple brandy finished in bourbon barrels.
Tink, 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 tink.
The reason I got that one is because I'm down to about a bottle and a half of the other one right now. So, here you go, bud.
Yeah, toss me a knuckle sandwich.
I sat down with him if you don't mind. If you guys need another cigar, let me know.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, Dano, you need some
But
more
yeah,
water?
so that was one that Dirk and I did. You know Dirk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would like to see you and Dirk and us do some collaborative stuff together because I love the cause Dirk's doing. We're going to be down there next Saturday or up there in Old 55 promoting End of Watch Legacy Fund. That was one of the picks that he and I did together, and it's Alan Bishop apple brandy at hazmat level. It's
And
so freaking good.
Since you bring up the event at Old 55, I will
Yes.
preface that with it is not only end of watch for the officers, it's
Right.
for all officers.
It
K9s
is.
too.
K9 too, yes.
So there was one in Lawrence Township that just passed away. Justice was the K9.
Yes, yeah.
Passed away off duty for gastric issues.
Yeah.
Also known as bloat. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It happens. It can happen to any dog.
It
Just
can.
primarily in larger dogs,
Yeah.
bull mastiffs, shepherds, things like that. But
I'm glad to see they expanded that because I mean the loss of a dog in the line of duty or one that's actually working that level of duty in the first place,
right,
it has a similar impact. I mean,
It does.
they're family members. When the police
their
officer,
handlers, their families.
well, when the police officer is the handler for the dog, that dog is their dog.
Right.
When he gets home, it's the family pet.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
It's also has a job. And when you lose one of those guys, you're not only losing a pet, you're losing someone that's actually out there fighting crime.
the
on
only
a
thing
daily
I can think of
basis.
right now is Billy Madison. When they're in story times, you got a dog. That's your thing.
That's your
you get off
dog.
your ass, you find that fucking dog.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a good point.
I
'Cause,
do like that's expanded.
That's perfect. And
Yeah.
that's why we're going to be there with Spencer Lee selling dog treats because we're going to be selling dog treats, collars, leashes, pet accessories.
Shout out.
Shout out to me.
Yes.
I'm right here.
And Jen.
And Jen.
And Jen.
She does most of it.
She's a small part of it. It's fine.
Small. Fuck. She
Wait, she's flipping me off right now.
she is the piece of the puzzle. But we're going to be selling dog treats and pet accessories and donating all the proceeds to End of Watch
Well, count me in.
for that. So
That's something too,
Yeah, come hang out, man.
We actually, I mean, you guys are a sponsor of the show. I will say, if you guys are dog lovers, you need collars, you need leashes, you need dog treats, dog toys, all this kind of stuff. Hit them up because I think everything that you guys do, you have a proceed of that going towards, rescues or
Absolutely.
whatever. It's like this is going to be going towards the dogs in the line of duty.
Cut me in on
all
that,
this
too.
money too. It's like reach out and take care of that because that is a huge portion of our law enforcement community and also our families too. So
yeah, I mean, most of the stuff that we do goes towards the rescues that we work with.
Yeah.
But when we find other instances where it benefits, somebody like Dirk that's doing the right thing with no strings attached,
why not?
we're gonna help them out.
Yeah.
So
And if you're going to a freaking winery or other places and they're out there, buy their stuff, man.
Come
Come
hang
on.
out.
It's like
Come donate.
They're going everywhere. They're out there to farmers markets. They're out there at breweries and distilleries and
we go everywhere.
churches. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Go out there and buy their stuff, man. Because
We
I mean,
go
this
everywhere.
stuff is definitely helping more than just the fact that you're getting an amazing product in the process. So
So I'm sure Dirk is probably already connected with who I'm thinking of, but if he's not, I really should get him in touch with Jared. He's he was the one in charge of Officer K9 Harley from the Fishers. Police
Probably because I
Department.
think Harley's
Yes.
on the coin.
he's on the new
He's a good
coin.
friend of ours.
Okay.
A real good dude. He
Yeah.
actually he does
sure
some
he has.
pretty bitchin' woodworking of his own on the side too.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, heck yeah.
This just tasted this. Wow.
Isn't that insane?
It's terrible, right?
The funny thing
Pass
is,
that over.
we did that pick. So the pick was that one there, which is a bourbon, and basically it's not bourbon finished. It's been resting in a bourbon barrel for
I love that.
however many years that was in there. We had one that was a rye port. Those are the two we picked. The one that we wanted to pick was in a tequila barrel. Our concern with that was, okay, we're now trying to educate people on brandy, and if we throw tequila in the mix, there's two things that are off-putting to some people. They may never try it. So eventually, we're going to be doing a tequila barrel.
Is this the higher proof one?
That's the lower.
Lower
That's
proof,
the
142.
Yeah, lower proof 141.
Yeah, it's a lower one at 141.
I love the tag on that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, Sierra. She was huge into Rogue Fitness, and so they actually did the coins for the Rogue weights on that one. That was a great job.
And I think that's the cool thing with a lot of Dirk's picks. He does the coins or the badges, or so you're gonna get a cool commemorative piece with it.
You are.
So I've consulted with him a little bit about what ideas I might do for ours, just for Ryan.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a pretty bitchin' sticker, which you've.
So let's bring this up again, because this might be the point where we lost our footage earlier during the power outage. So we're doing this pick at Starlight tomorrow to benefit your wife's cousin.
Yeah. So
which was an A10 loader.
Yeah, he staff sergeant Ryan Pritt. He worked with.
You should do a coin like that.
That's bitchin'.
To hang on the bottle.
We could put him
have that
on there
plane on the
that.
back with his picture on there. That would be a freaking amazing coin.
So there's a ton of ideas. All, my wife's only caveat is that she's got to be involved with it. She wants to be involved with the design of it,
Good for her.
So, but yeah, so Ryan loaded A10s. I've got pictures of him, loading rockets, bombs, whatever. I wish I was a little bit more well versed on the aircraft itself and what went into it, but
it shoots shit.
Well, the only thing I do know is that they've tried to retire that aircraft like 4 times, and they just have to keep it.
We talked about that. We talked about that on the Colin Bielik episode.
Oh yeah,
so that's what Harmon said this morning when I talked to him on the phone was, well, you just go ahead and name it. That's fine. And I'm thinking, like Bert. With however many R characters, because there's a character limit. So however many characters we can fit in there is going to be mostly R's or whatever. But I think that'd be fun.
Should be called the Never Die. Because they want to retire it.
They do want to retire
it's
that
not
plane.
Gonna. There's no way.
They've been using that plane forever, but it's too functional.
It sounds like America, and it puts the fear into our enemies.
Yeah, when it flies over the house, all I hear is fuck yeah.
Yes. That is an amazing aircraft.
Oh, it's crazy.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna personally donate probably. I'm gonna say, depending on it's gonna come down to how much it is drank at this event. There's a Hope Gala annually for Mission 22 at the Biltwell in Indianapolis. I'd love it if all of you guys were there.
When is that event?
It's November something. I'm a piece of crap about remembering dates. So
I
as
might
soon
have
as you
November
get the date,
something
please let
available.
me know so we can get on the day. I'd like to be down there.
We'll cover
for
that
it.
for
Yes,
sure.
we'll
Yeah,
be
we'll
down
do
there.
a live event there.
So it's a lot of fun. I've gone the last 3 years actually. I've seen a lot of cool things. Last year they had the Medal of Honor recipient. The guy, I have such a hard time remembering his name, and I hate that. But essentially, the Forrest Gump guy is the best way to remember it because he is the guy that received the Medal of Honor for saving all those guys while being injured in Vietnam.
I got shut in my buttocks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I guess he was hell of a harmonica player. So he actually offered to auction off his harmonica because he was emceeing the whole event that night, or the keynote actually, probably. I think he was the keynote, but he auctioned off his harmonica, and I think it raised an additional like $1,500 by itself that night.
Awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
And I believe just because their liquor sponsor backed out this year, one of the areas where they said, Kylie could try to work as a state ambassador was trying to source sponsorships for alcohol and stuff like that for the event, even though being a veteran organization, alcohol can be kind of a touchy subject. So they still need it, though, to serve at the event. So they'll generate proceeds. So I'm going to donate probably 3 or 4 bottle or cases of it for them to serve for a signature cocktail tonight, or neat, however they want to do it. It'll be Biltwell bartenders serving it. And then depending, maybe a case or 2 in the silent auction as well for, like, hey, this beautiful juice that you've been drinking tonight, if you like it, there's a case of it available for auction at the silent auction.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then
And it's going to be a banger pick because we're all doing it.
yeah, I mean, the biggest part
It's
of
gonna
me
be good.
getting people like yourselves on this is that, I'm just a Joe Blow in the bourbon world here in Indianapolis. You know, my name comes
bullshit.
up every now
You have a great palate, buddy.
I have a good palate, but I do. I hopped into a live on TikTok the other night, and I don't remember what her name. USMC Danielle. I said hi, and she said, one of the best beards in bourbon TikTok, and she commented on that right away. I was like, okay, well, I've got something. I have something, but
you have a face for TikTok.
Well, as much as Dan featured me in his, yeah. But that's the whole point of what we're doing. So, you know, Harmon's a good spirit. He said he had no quibs about selling the bottles in his store when they're available for purchase.
Good.
That's
Good.
awesome.
He had no quibs about selling them with the you know, with the tags and the stickers on them, you know, and it'll tell a story. You know?
Do you know, has Jerdy told us anything about the age of the barrels yet?
He told me a little bit. He said, depending on how soon we were able to get out, there was one in particular that was a straight banger that, and so I scheduled as soon as I possibly could. He inferred it should still be there, but something that was double oaked into a French barrel that they paid a good deal of money for just to even procure.
Yeah.
Said that it's really good. So
French oak.
Well, and that's the nice thing about, you know, like Starlight does a great job. Starlight buys barrels from all over the world all the freaking time. But the cool thing about that is you can actually reuse the barrels. So, you know, you can reuse the finishing barrels over and over and over, and you're still going to get a lot of the unique profile out of those. So, yeah, they may spend, I mean, I know a couple of those cognac barrels that they had the big, what do they call those? The big boar's heads or pig's head, whatever the hell they call it, what he calls those things. The big one.
Axolotl.
It's like 80-gallon barrels. You know, man, it cost him 60 to 80 grand to bring it over. But, you know,
What was that?
If you can run five, 6, 7 batches through it, you can balance that out a lot, and it actually does some great things. But you know, I'm just curious on the age of that. I can't wait to try them because I know some of their double oak stuff they've gotten some awards for it here recently. I think wasn't it the one in California?
Because like the Bordeaux barrel is what, like 65 gallons?
Something like that. Yeah.
And the other one was bigger. It's like 80 or 85.
Well, they had a couple of Ambranas that were big freaking like 80-gallon Ambranas. I'm like,
yeah, you get like 3-4 uses out of that.
Those are the good
dump
ones,
that
right?
shit down the toilet.
have a bonfire and burn those barrels.
Exactly. But
They'll burn real quick.
that's the thing. I do feel like Starlight's
stuff.
been one of those distilleries, at least in our region, that probably kind of led the charge on let's just jump into finishing. Because if you ever tried any of their stuff back when it was in the wine bottles, it wasn't that great.
Well, and we gave
But
them
once
a lot of shade too. Like
We did.
We give Starlight a lot of shade, but you know,
but they're good.
there was no animosity towards
No.
that shade. It was just that they're killing the market with the finishes, is, you know, releasing too many too quickly.
And that could be a thing.
And they price themselves out of it because, you
Yeah.
know, like we mentioned earlier with a lot of the releases, it was all line out the door release on a Friday, and then all of a sudden it was sold out that day. It's not like that
That's the
anymore.
difficult part about running a business that's a profitable business, is that you're going to want to see returns that it would otherwise indicate growth, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah, but
it's-
5 to 6 years, it was like that. Like
Yeah.
it trended up every year.
I just feel like any distillery trying to get off and create a brand is eventually going to get to the point where it's that Batman moment.
Right.
It's the Batman moment. You either
But then they build a
die
second
a hero
still.
or live to see yourself become a villain. You know, it's like
Right.
you've got to continue putting out more stuff. You know?
But
Yeah,
that was what
yeah.
got them into the market, was a lot of those finished stuff.
They did.
And then they got the second still and, you know, expanded their rick house and, you know, just kept expanding their whole operation.
Well, and they've
So-
won some awards on their straight rye and their straight bourbons now, so people are starting to see them around the country as a legitimate distillery. You know, they're no
Right.
longer a small craft
they're way
distillery.
past the blackberry.
You know what? Actually, come to think of it, just because Kylie's been working tirelessly to create a lot of benefit for this cause. I mean, she's been working really hard, and she's gotten so many cool things for their silent auction. I mean, it's insane. She got, and then I'll bounce back to what my crazy thought was, but I mean, I just feel like I didn't want to skip over what she's gotten. She got a company to donate a roof to the silent
Oh,
auction.
I saw that. That's
A
awesome.
roof. I mean, wow.
So you win that auction and you get a new roof on your house.
Yeah, and then also
Is it from
amazing.
no, it's not from Bone Dry either. Sorry, but I don't like your company.
Bone Dry.
Well, they wouldn't hire me either.
No,
So
the
hell with them.
company's out of Lafayette. It would be a special job, but it's from one of her friends that competed in the Mrs. Indiana pageant that she did earlier this year. But also, there's a chartered helicopter ride around Indianapolis as well.
Sounds
that's
terrible.
pretty awesome. But no, I told Dan on the way over here, I actually have been going to that campus since I was a kid. My parents were big wine drinkers and big fans of inside Indiana, wine trips down to Madison, down to Brown County, and down to West Baden, down to that winery down there. So like I unfortunately, due to no sitters and stuff like that, my brother and I just had to entertain ourselves while they were inside drinking wine.
Yeah.
So I've been to all these spots, but the best one was always when they said we're going to Huber.
Yeah.
The best one, because they would just give us a handful of quarters. We'd go out to the ponds and feed the koi fish and feed the ducks and everything like that, and just hang out,
I got wedding pictures doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, and again, Starlight's one of those places where you can go out there, you can have a great meal. A lot of their food is farm to table in their restaurant. You have the whiskey, you have the brandies, you have the wine, you have the barn that has all their baked goods. They got
Their
coffee,
brandies are
everything.
actually really
they're
good.
basically kind of like an Amish.
They are.
Amish without being honest, because
You're exactly right.
they have the winery, they've got the spirits, but they also have cheeses. They
do.
Bakery goods, everything, and then a
Meats,
ridiculous
ice
like
cream, donuts.
in produce season when Indiana produce is thriving, they have a ridiculous amount of fresh grown produce up there. So like when you're out there, and that's why I told Dan, best time to go out there is really the fall.
Yeah, you
get
go out there and get the pumpkin patch.
Yeah,
man.
pumpkin patch. You got
Apple
everything going on.
orchards.
It's a whole thing out there. So I'm
We
really
go
looking
every year.
forward to it. But I will probably tomorrow. I'm just thinking about it because obviously they're not going to serve just spirits. She's working on working on the beer. She's also been working on the wine, and I kind of just said a long time ago, like, why don't I just get you a few cases of wine for them to serve at the event? So I might buy a few cases of wine while we're there tomorrow and just donate those for the gala.
Well, I mean, maybe after we do the pick, we just ask them if we can do a tasting of the wines. You guys can pick the wines you want for the thing, because I mean they can do that there.
I think they're just they were looking for a red choice and a white choice, and those will be just their two wines that they want. And
that's one of those things where like it might be good to have like a sweeter white and then a dry red.
Yeah.
And then that way you hit both palates on that too. Because I will tell you, I mean, I know you're probably not doing cigars at the release party. I don't even know if you can smoke on the outside of that place. But I will say red wine is fantastic with cigars.
Where is the party at?
It's at Biltwell.
Oh, the Biltwell.
So the gala itself, the gala itself is at the Biltwell downtown, and it's a great event. It's I mean, food and everything.
I mean, there's outdoor seating around the outdoor patio, but I don't know if they would allow smoking at their location.
I will say it's always pretty freaking cold outside whenever they decide to do this.
November though, man, we're going to be in sweatshirt season at that point in Indiana right now.
I'll gladly join you guys out on the patio for a stick.
Yeah.
But
well, look, we'll be there.
We will be there.
It's a great event. There's always like a really good it's like a multi-course meal where they bring in the courses, kind of like how I don't know, what was that, Noble Oak in Fortville. You invited me to that event in Fortville at
Fox Garden.
Yeah, that was fun.
And it was like they would bring you out this course, and then
shout out
take
to
your plates
Jake and
away.
the boys at Fox Garden.
Shout out.
Love those guys.
So it'll be that type of setting, and then they'll have bars that you can obtain the juice out there, and you can observe the silent auction items. I mean, there's always one really good woodworker item that's in there where we bought it last year. It was a beautiful wooden flag that's about yay big.
Yeah.
And they created the waves of the flag into it and colored it and everything, and then they also inscripted Mission 22. That's hung in our house, and I had to outbid this old lady really high to get it. I think I had to pay like $1,100 for it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, that's a good point. You go out to these causes you believe in, and if it's a whiskey bottle release, it didn't matter if it's a silent auction. There's going to be all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, hell, my wife bid up a tattoo for me from a guy that actually did my tattoo before. He donated 4 hours, and she bid it up to the cost of the tattoo, and I got that for part of my tattoo.
Speaking of, actually, Kylie did consult a tattoo shop in Carmel. Nice. They did donate like 2 or 3 tattoos to this.
Perfect.
As well.
I'll be bidding on those. I need to keep working on it.
I could probably help you out with this.
Yeah.
So you're doing a silent auction for this, right?
Yeah.
So let's do we could do something with Spencer Lee's. We could do a dog package, maybe like a coat, a collar, some treats, maybe, and then with both their visuals, we could do like a production package. Video production or something, a commercial shoot or whatever. So
and not only that, but you've already mentioned that you were going to probably donate some gift cards to here.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Dan, we talked about you actually donating like an actual whiskey tasting.
Yeah, I'm going to do like a big. I've done this for a few other events.
A chug event.
A chugathon.
Come chug with Dan. Chug with Dan.
Sweet tea for everybody.
No, we're going to do because I'll do like whiskey tasting. So we'll do like a whiskey tasting for 10 or
a shockathon.
A shot. Yeah, so we'll
bring your fingers.
We'll do like a whiskey tasting for you and 10 of your friends or whatever it is. And I'll bring.
I will tell you, for any of you guys out there that are into bourbon clubs or just love bourbon or following us, whatever, it's always fun to do a tasting with someone that knows their shit, because they'll bring out like Jack did for us on that one event we did. I know you've done this many times.
The world of
they're going to bring out. They're not going to just bring out, here's a lineup of Jim Beam and you can try their low shit to their high shit. No, it's always going to be like, this is something very unique you may never be able to try, and we want you to try it to get an experience of, this is an Irish whiskey that's off profile from Irish or whatever. And it's always fun to do that because it will expand your palate and it will help you learn more about the industry and more about the actual bourbons you're tasting. So, I mean, I always recommend people, if you ever see some of those pop up, just jump on them, man. They're always worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, you're always going to get something that you've never heard of.
That's one thing I like to do. Every time I do a whiskey tasting, I'll have your average whiskeys, and I always bring like a surprise, some kind of something you've never had or something.
Jeff the Creed, we did 6.
Probably some kind of. We'll start with the Bloody Butcher.
Yeah. We'll start you off on Bloody Butcher, and then
and then we'll work our way up. But it's
to Willet Pot Still.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had Jackie Zykan out here for a sensory training, and
that was awesome.
Dude, we did the whole training. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she pretty much just told us all we were full of shit.
And honestly, she was 100% right, on all of it. But, at the end of the night, she's like, okay, I got a bottle of the last bottle of birthday bourbon that I actually was part of the process.
Yeah, that she helped blend.
We shared it. And you know what? It was a great experience. We got to try something that we'll never be able to see again. But we got to hear the person that said, this is why we did this, and this is the reasons why. It's so much fun to do that, man.
So, speaking of birthday bourbon, what are your thoughts on birthday bourbon?
Most of them I hate.
I think most of them are very overrated.
Way overrated.
What they are.
No.
Well, it's like Old Forester in general, like 1924. Again, 1924 is great. It's twice the price of 1920, and 1920 is still better.
Ever.
But 1924 is good if it was $50 a bottle.
It's so oaky.
It is. But if you were buying that for $50 a bottle, I'd be okay.
If you're buying it for $50 a bottle, also, so most of the on the Old Forester birthday bourbons, I wish they were higher proof. I want more of a punch from. I want to love them
for the MSRP.
Punch
on
Drunk Love.
And
Adam Sandler's first movie.
I like barrel picks.
No, I can't. So we did. I've had a ton of the Old Forester birthday bourbons, and I have not found any that I've been just like.
I'm with you.
Absolutely in love with.
The price is way over much for.
I've had so many Old Forester single barrel strength picks that I have fallen in love with.
Blew that shit out.
Just
1920,
blew it out of
1910.
All the single ladies.
Have you ever? Yeah, all the single ladies. Still my favorite barrel pick of theirs.
Good.
Elite Beverage did a hell of a job on that barrel pick.
V&T batch 1 of theirs. Yep. Warehouse K, that one's amazing.
So the
K one was great.
Warehouse K, just for whatever reason, all the Warehouse K.
And then wherever I got that one, that rootstock hospitality one or whatever.
Those have
That
been so
warehouse
good.
K.
Was the warehouse K an elite pick,
comfortably
too?
numb? I think it was called, right?
Oh, that was good.
That
So
was really
I've done the last Old Forester barrel strength pick we did. It was a unanimous. We had 9 guys on the pick, and it was a unanimous decision. Just all 9. Yes, this is the one. This is the one. This is one.
9's still a good number. I know we talked about numbers earlier.
It's
but
a big. So Chris Morris.
It is.
Chris Morris led us on the thing.
Really?
And he was the only one that was like, I didn't like this. And he goes, the only reason I didn't like this, not that he didn't like it, but he goes, the only reason I chose against it because this is the only one that's different from the regular Old Forester profile.
Which is not a bad
I
thing.
am gonna say,
But if you have 9 guys that are like, it's that
That's
one, it's
the
that
one.
one, it's that one, it's that one, and it made the pick so easy because we're like, okay, how do we do this? Well, okay, that's.
I'm going to say that my favorite one was the Vine and Table one, Warehouse K. I mean that they do some excellent picks. Sorry, back up. Why did I say VNT? It's not VNT. I always mix those up when I'm in Carmel, but Market District.
Market
District. Warehouse
Lord,
K Volume
yeah.
1.
Their
I'm
back
so
one
sorry.
is so good.
R.I.P. to Vine and Table. But no, I mean, no. I
So
always go
the
back
one
to
in what was it, College Ave? Big Red bought that place.
Yeah,
It's a bottle shop.
bottle shop. Yeah,
Yeah, Bottle Shop by Big Red is what it's called now. I haven't been in there yet. Have you been in there?
I haven't.
What are they doing? Just mainly barrel picks or what?
Oh, I don't know.
Being a bottle shop.
I think they were doing just regular. I think it was just regular bourbon, and they were throwing some of the other Big Red picks in there. I think that was the same thing with Vine and Table.
Well, yeah, it was very similar.
Yeah, they had Bourbon World, and they were just doing picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the other location was what? Fisher's? Where was the other Vine and Table?
Vine and Table's in
It was
Carmel.
downtown in
Carmel?
Carmel.
It's always been Carmel.
That's where I did all my main.
Oh, so it was Carmel and then College Ave, which
but
was
Vine
like,
and
what-
Table
what's that, Broad Ripple?
was a part of Big Red. They
Oh,
were-
okay.
They were
Yeah,
owned
it
by
was-
well, the other
Vine
one
and
went to
Table
an Indian
before
market.
was by themselves. Then Big Red bought them.
Big Red Bottom.
Oh, okay.
Joseph Davy was still working there, and then he left. And
and
shortly
they
after,
sold those.
shortly after he left, they sold it off, and now it's
Yeah,
a
so
Thai
College
restaurant or
Ave is
something.
the bottle shop by Big Red or whatever it's called. The
Okay.
other one is now an Indian restaurant.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Carmel,
struggle
so
with
it's
a
like-
lot of North Side liquor stores up there.
Yeah.
I struggle with them.
I mean, Market District does a great job.
They do a
They've
fantastic
always
job.
got.
So many picks.
That's the thing is like you go into Market District, you're probably going to see 30 to 40 picks available almost every day.
Yeah,
I think
they
that
still
might
actually
be-
have right now. Their Elijah Craig barrel pick is still sitting right there. They still have, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 cases.
It's probably
And
not
knowing
11
Lori, I
years
mean,
old, though.
she's got a hell of a palate. she usually has a
Her
great team.
and Joe, yeah, Joe
And
over
Joe,
there too.
okay.
He's great.
They have a
but
lot of picks.
they still got, me. I'm sitting there like a kid that's able to get his favorite food every single day or something like
Mhm.
that. I mean, I'm become a little bit of a Peerless snob lately, and they still got their double oaked rye pick, and it's fantastic. It's just the price point's too high, but I'll justify it when I finish a bottle. I'll go back and I'll.
Well,
I'll,
the people
buy
that
it
know
again.
Peerless know you're going to spend $120 minimum,
Yeah,
and you're going to get into some special releases that are 160, 180. You know what? If you're a bourbon lover and you love Peerless, you don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It is a little
It's not a
high for
beginner
most
one.
people. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. You have to love whiskey.
Well, it's the same thing with BBC. Is that it's not a beginner's.
Wait, what's BBC?
you want
I
to
don't
talk
understand
about
what
putting
that
out too
is.
much stuff and too many variants. That's my only beef with them is that I
Yeah.
cannot keep anything straight that Bardstown puts out because
But
there's
then the Heritage line was the
It's
more
just-
affordable one.
it's just
Yeah.
so many products, and it's like, hey, have you had this one? And it was like, okay, yeah, no, I think I've got that one in my house. No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about batch 6. And
Exactly,
It's like, it's
yeah.
like that's
Well,
But when
BBC's in
Bardstown-
the same world as what Barrel craft spirits
BBC.
are. They're all
Yeah, exactly.
they're both bringing their prices back down to an affordable level, which is good. But it also makes some people look at it and go, "Oh, what's wrong? Why are you bringing
You
your
aren't
prices
selling
down?"
anything.
It's like
what was the green
it's a
label
double
again?
whammy.
It was like the Blender series or something like that, or what was like? It was like a
For
green-
what the original one?
It had like a metal top, like a brass top
Oh, I
cork
don't
on it or
remember.
something. I've got
I don't
Well,
remember
because
that
like
one.
the first line was
Fusion
like
series,
160.
Fusion
and that was
that's what it
49 to 60
Those were pretty good.
MSRP.
yeah.
But like when Bardstown first started coming around, like their first release was like 149 MSRP, and it's like that's one of those like I can't justify trying that for the first time without like either going to do a tasting or like somebody giving me a pour of that to try. Like,
I drop that much at Peerless every single time. I would.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
but
at
you're
that
also
point,
a
like,
Peerless lover. You're going to do that.
well, but okay,
You're
Jansen,
you're
same way.
invested. Yeah, you're invested in the Peerless.
I am invested, but like I'll just say that it didn't disappoint. When I was there
No.
last, when I went out there, 2 months ago or something like that, and we Waddell, he brought us in. He treated us like family. Brought us back right away. He let us sample over a dozen things, and I walked out of there with all these ones that they don't sell here in Indiana because we only carry the basic SKU in Indiana.
Right.
Yeah,
But I walked
Small
out of
batch
there
rye.
I got the high rye bourbon, epic. I love it. I brought it over to your house yesterday.
It's good.
It's amazing.
Very good.
They had I just so happened to be there. They had a special single barrel bourbon that was it was a special one they were releasing for the Derby for African American jockeys. It was like a special one. That one was amazing. They had a particular small batch that was epic, and I don't remember what the story he told, but he sold me on it, and it is different from your typical small batch.
Did you ever try the absinthe barrel?
That's what. So I asked him specifically because I mentioned that
It's a special one.
I mentioned Eric, I mentioned you, and he left for like 10 minutes. He came back with a little plastic bottle.
That's what he did with me too.
It wasn't even in a
5-gallon
He
bucket.
didn't have any variants that were still left of it in an actual glass bottle. He brought it. I tried it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It's
Yeah.
literally just like a hint of licorice.
It
It's
is so
amazing.
good. Yeah.
one of the best
yeah.
ones I had was the Trifesta bottle from them. It was one that was the Bourbon Fest, Bourbon and Beyond, and then Louder Than Life. And that was like, they had a Trifesta series, and like Peerless had one, Four Roses had one. Oh, what was the other one? I don't remember the
Woodford,
other one.
wasn't
There
it?
was, Woodford.
Yeah.
And they had all like this series for all the festivals in Louisville. And that it was so good.
Yeah.
I don't have any more of that because,
What else?
She
I come
drank
home
it.
with?
you
I
know,
came
my
home
wife
with
told me
their-
not to open it, but
Gin's a lush.
I
man.
drank
She
it
drinks
all.
that shit.
And then,
Oh god.
I think the only other ones I came home with because I doubled up because I was like, I don't know the next time I'm going to be here, so I bought two of
Yeah.
everything. So I walked away bleeding, but with like a dumb smile on my face. Or
I will
whatever.
say that's a pro move. If you go to a distillery and you try something and you're like, "Oh, I love that."
buy two.
Yeah, it might be a
100%.
little bit it might hurt your wallet a bit. Get two because you can throw one on the shelf, you can crack one, you can share that one with your buddies, and then when you get to the last bottle, you can baby the hell out of
Yeah,
it all you
Peerless
want
is
to.
going to hurt you a lot of the times, but
They do, but
why-
man, it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
You, got,
Yeah.
you had like
Well,
less than
that's
an
why
inch.
that last
yeah.
one I had
Yeah.
had less than an inch.
Oh, I was very sparing.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
He was so impressed with my less than an inch that it was.
that's what she said.
I know. It was,
Yeah, Mike gets that every weekend, man.
But no, I left also with just their regular double oak rye. I left with their double oak bourbon, and then they had this other one that was a single barrel rye that was called the Leaker, and that one was really good. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie.
I've downed the first bottle, and I am afraid to open up the other one because
No.
I don't want to go through it.
So that one's
You
the
will.
one that they had issues with the barrel.
Yeah,
We tried that when we were down there, and you're right, it was freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say, man, I mean, he does a great job of doing tastings because he'll bring
shout out to
20
John.
Yeah, shout out John.
20 different barrel or
He's getting
bottles
married soon.
out, and you try all. Oh yeah, he is. That's right.
Do you need a wedding photographer?
Mike's
Shout out
got
this
you.
guy.
Mike only has like 14 businesses, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
but I never work.
But he
Never
does a
worked.
great job. He
Yeah.
does a fantastic.
He
job.
does. Waddle. What's his
Waddell.
name?
Yeah, Waddell.
Yeah.
And also he's got the fit nabbed down to a point. There's nobody else in Louisville that's repping the swag like he's got.
True.
My favorite hat is his. It's clearly like just a touch of Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
Well, cool, man. So what else we have to go here?
Oh man, nothing. I don't know. What else you got? You got anything else, Dan? No.
Need some more whiskey?
Triathlon coming up.
I'll take some more. Yeah,
How's your liver feel?
fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
It's primed and ready to go.
Yeah, we got nothing else, man. Let's close this out, Rob.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I don't have any more.
No, all our notes we've already touched on. It's
Uh,
everyone else's
the
fault
only
if
one
the
thing,
power killed it.
So again, we said August 3rd, Heaven Hill release party here at Final Third. Get out here for that. That's going to be an amazing day. They're bringing out food trucks. We're going to have an amazing day that day. August the 7th, we have a Drew Estate Cut and Light event. So we're going to have Ben out here. We're going to be Smoking Drew Estate cigars that night. All the discounts for your event discounts that night.
Absolutely.
So come out and for that too. Where can they find you guys on Instagram and Facebook or wherever you guys like to be found?
Heavy Bourbon on Instagram, The Heavy Bourbon on TikTok, heavybourbon.com.
Okay.
All of it.
God, I don't even have a .com. Just Whiskey Bent Indy.
Whiskey Bit Indy. All right. Find me everywhere.
Underscores in between.
Nice. Final Third cigar for everything here. And Mike?
Yeah, you can find me at Spencer Lee's, both are visuals, and don't forget to follow the Final Third podcast on Instagram.
Smash that like, baby.
Smash that like.
Yes.
Smash the subscribe. I
Yeah.
really said I wasn't going to say that.
You have no idea how much
You
it's
say it
all the
every week now.
I say it every week.
Yes.
Please subscribe.
Yeah.
It
Thank you guys
feeds
so
my
much.
family.
We appreciate you guys, and fuck you, Jobu.
Fuck you, Jobu.
Fuck you, Jobu.